Saturday, May 20th at Lincoln Financial Field. With your support, we can help transform the lives of individuals affected by autism. Register today at eaglesautismchallenge.org.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor. Melinda's is proud to be the official hot sauce of the AT&T Byron Nelson. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. Find them in a grocery store near you at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Toyota is proud to present the 96 Stotesbury Cup Regatta on the Schuylkill River, May 19th and 20th. Enjoy the Toyota experience in Stotesbury Village near the grandstand finish line, where the 2022 Camry and RAV4 hybrids will be on display. Come and visit the world's oldest and largest high school rowing competition along the Schuylkill River and see the 2022 Toyota Tacoma, plus a special Eagles branded Tundra iForce Max at the Athletes Village near the launching dock. See you at the regatta. Toyota, let's go places.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. When planning your summer vacation, pick a destination close to where you live to limit your use of fuel. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Friday, May 12th. It is indeed Kayal Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. You can get involved on Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Stenson with the news. Greg Stocker is the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Torenzo, our associate producers, as we have made it to another Mother's Day weekend here in the Delaware Valley. How's everybody doing after last night's festivities?
Horrible.
Same here.
I am very grumpy this morning.
I am ticked off. We've got open borders. Our basketball team crapped their pants in the fourth quarter.
Oh, my goodness.
Our pets' heads are falling off. And Greg Stocker will make all Eagles predictions today.
What?
Schedule release last night for the Eagles, wins and losses.
Bring it all down for you.
Yeah, we'll break it all down for all 4 hours. Well, I think coming up in Week 12, despite the fact that I don't know who will be healthy and who won't be, I think the Eagles are in a tough spot here, Mike. Anywho. My God. What a day, what a night.
You know, yesterday we got called out on Twitter.
What did we do?
I saw this.
I guess somebody tuned in and they were like, you guys are talking about the Trump CNN thing. I'm like, we spent 3.5 hours on it.
I know.
Is that sarcastic?
No.
No.
Apparently he tuned in from 8:30 to 9:15.
Yeah.
Did we not mention it in that 45 minutes? I feel like honestly, if we didn't, that's bad programming by me. And I apologize because
pretty sure we did it kind of like a reset in the 9 o'clock hour.
That's the heart of morning drive, and we should have done it. But we did so much of it yesterday.
Can't make everybody happy.
I think with all the clips we played, we must have replayed the entire town hall.
Trump is like the Eagles. You must talk about it 24/7 now.
Honestly, I saw that and I said, like mid-morning, Is this, we need the sarcasm alert again? Remember
Yeah.
when you used to teach me about sarcasm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I really thought he was being sarcastic because I felt like, like Greg said, everything was covered, all the sound was played, the analysis.
We covered it from every single conceivable angle.
That's what I thought.
My goodness. You can't make everybody happy. I've learned that a long time ago.
You also have to remember that people don't tune in for the entire 4 hours.
Right.
They should,
Right.
especially now that we're broadcasting live on YouTube.
That's correct. And with that being said, if you tune in and you don't hear us talking about what you thought you might catch, well, with the Odyssey app and YouTube, you can go back a la carte and listen to what you want.
Thank you.
When you want.
You can.
How you want.
There's chapters on the Odyssey app, and if you see the Trump Town Hall, you can just click on it.
Boom.
And I'm sure at that point we were talking about it because we spent literally, 3 hours and 15 minutes, I guess.
So you know what
talking about
happened?
it.
Yeah.
He was mesmerized by Greg Stocker's new haircut, had the volume down.
Yeah, beautiful hair.
And you got to turn the volume up. You can't just watch Greg's flowing Owen Wilson-like hair.
That's correct. Some would say meatloaf, but Owen Wilson, meatloaf, same thing, right?
Oh, God.
Oh, what a show we have today. Title 42 has expired. That'll be the theme of the big take. And we've got the ratings for Trump and CNN.
Oh, I can't wait to get into this.
Trump could also be getting sued, not a second time, but a third time by E. Jean Carroll.
I think I said that yesterday, too.
And my alma mater, Temple University, will now be offering up a course on pornography, porn studies at Temple University. Yeah. That's very interesting.
How to be a porn star.
Yes, indeed. Marines being charged with second-degree manslaughter. We got a lot to delve into. But before we do all of that, we get the news from Dawn Stensland, and I'm guessing it's probably bad. Good morning, Dawn.
It's a grumpy morning. It's not even a good morning. We're all tired.
Yeah, it's Grumpy News Live.
And Grumpy News Live and the officiating could have been better as well. I'm just going with the beard on that one. All right. We are sponsored with, you know me, I'm going to be the enabler. I'm going to blame the officiating.
Did he have 12 points last night?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, how'd that FanDuel pick go, buddy?
Oh, no. Yeah, it was bad. It was
Sorry.
bad.
Well, there is other news of the day, and we are sponsored at least it's Friday, and it's May 12th. We're sponsored by Hint Water, and we're going up to 85 degrees today, so at least we've got a summer-like day ahead for your Friday. And yes, good news from United States Marshals, who have now caught 1 out of 2 of the inmates who escaped Philadelphia prison last Sunday night, even though nobody realized it for 19 hours, and then we didn't know about it for even longer than that. But there's still one guy on the loose, considered armed and dangerous. So this is 24-year-old Nasir Grant, arrested in the Strawberry Mansion section of Philadelphia last night. Police are still, and U.S. Marshals still searching for murder suspect Amin Hurst. So Amin Hurst is the 18-year-old who at 16 was accused of murdering 4 people, injuring 2 others, and so considered the more menacing of the 2 escapees. As far as Nasir Grant, they say they were doing surveillance, conducting some surveillance, the operation last night in the area that was believed to be frequented by Nasir Grant. By the way, he was in prison on drug and gun charges, so the lesser of the 2, if you will, the lesser risky inmate, if you will. And so they caught him because he was disguising himself as a woman in Muslim garb, but pretending that he was a woman. Ultimately, good job to those officers. They've been working 18 plus hours a day to catch these 2, and they are confident now that they will catch the other guy, murder suspect, armed and dangerous, Amin Hurst, just 18 years young, but they say they continue those.
So disguised as a woman?
Disguised
well,
as a woman.
If he claims that he's transitioning as a woman, they'll probably let him go.
That's true. Yeah, in kooky land that we live in, this is true. And I will take us to the border for a moment. Thousands of migrants crossing over the southern border in these last-minute attempts to claim asylum right before the rules changed. Title 42 officially ended at midnight. So in those final hours before the pandemic-era measure expired, forces being beefed up along the border, fortifying their posts, barbed wire, concrete barriers, quite a scene, heavily armed teams patrolling those front lines. It looks like right now all is pretty quiet, but they're saying that they are still seeing many more migrants. So we're covering, obviously, the end of Title 42. Will another busload of migrants arrive in Philadelphia, as we keep hearing our city officials welcoming in folks, because we are a sanctuary city. So we got that going for us. And a lot of national news for sure today. And in sports, 76ers fell in. We could have gotten her done in South Philadelphia, but no. The Celtics beat us in the last minutes of the game, 95-86, Game 6, tying up the series. So now it goes down to the wire, Game 7, Mother's Day in Boston. So it's going to be either, depending on who wins against LA, does LA win tonight? So we have to watch who wins today, and then that'll determine, is it a 3:30 game? Is it an 8 p.m. game? Sunday, Mother's Day.
Great. I got to go to bed Sunday night with heartburn. That'll be riveting.
I know. So all I want for Mother's Day, Sixers win.
Yeah. Please play early so I can go to bed at a decent time.
Yes.
I don't want to have to stay up and watch this garbage and get my heart ripped out again.
By the way, I know in the third quarter they were up by 9, I think, but there was no shot they were winning this game.
What?
They had a 3 or 4 point lead in the fourth quarter. Like, I just don't understand how they start off so slow too.
Yes.
They were down 13-3 before they knew it hit them.
They're the most inconsistent team in basketball.
Ugh. Wonder why I drink.
They looked. I stayed up. I watched it, and I stayed up because I wanted to woohoo, have a great.
Mm-hmm.
We watched. It was exciting.
Yeah.
And then what the heck happened?
Well, Jason Tatum all of a sudden in the fourth quarter came back to life.
All of a sudden, and he gets a 3-point, and we go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then he just got hot,
Yeah.
and we got cold.
I looked at the wall and I said, "Here it comes, wall. Here comes the collapse."
God. And then I know you'll mention this, the National Football League releasing the big schedule last night, too.
Yeah, Don, you're going to make every pick later at 7:35 this morning.
Yeah, we didn't.
We're going to go down the list, and we're just going to say Eagles, 49ers. Dawn, win or loss.
Well,
So they're doing down the hall today for 4 hours.
hey, if you know me, I always think we're going to win.
All right, so you got them 17-0. We just saved some time. Greg, we'll hit the cut sheet on time now.
Oh, awesome.
So we are sponsored by Hint Water, delicious fruit-infused water, 0 sweeteners, 0 calories. Hint's $25 flavors include blackberry, coconut, blueberry, lemon, which is delicious, in stores or at hintwater.com. Thank you, hintwater.com. You will need to hydrate today. 85 degrees, bright sunny skies. What a beautiful Friday. And remember, Taylor Swift, all the Swifties are in Philadelphia for the big Taylor Swift series, I was going to say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So through the weekend, pretty cool hearing all the stories of those. A lot of dads and moms lining up yesterday, as we talked about in South Philadelphia, to get the merchandise. T-Mobile Weather Center forecast, 85 today. The rain moves in, still warm in the upper 70s for your Saturday, but about 60-ish% chance that we're going to see some showers for Saturday. But Sunday, Mother's Day, we are teed up for a beautiful 75-degree sunny day. So a lovely forecast for Mom's Day. That's the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast. And this is Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. It's 6:13 on this Friday as we wrap up another week with another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
The Big Take this morning, 42 expires as the Biden administration claims the title of border incompetence. At 11:59 p.m. last night, Title 42 officially expired. And Title 42 can be defined as the expulsion or removal of individuals by the U.S. government who have been in other countries where a communicable disease was present. In this case, that disease was COVID-19. And while an overwhelming majority of Americans have moved on from COVID, as the Biden administration and the WHO finally concede that the virus is no longer a danger of pandemic proportions, Joe Biden and his cavalry of border stooges have no plan in place. America is on the verge of being bum-rushed at the southern border. In fact, it's already begun. Border czar Kamala Harris has moved on to combating artificial intelligence since she's useless with human intelligence. Alejandro Mayorkas wouldn't say the word crisis if you offered him $1 million and hid it and funneled it through a shell company. And the Border Patrol agents, as well as sheriffs in Texas and Arizona, as well as governors such as Greg Abbott, are essentially left to fend for themselves. Sure, Joe sent an additional 1,500 active duty U.S. troops for administrative tasks, but the reality is the southern border looks like a 10 a.m. limited ticket release for a Taylor Swift concert, but on steroids. Lines forming that leave you speechless when you see the visuals, drones, aerial views, camera shots. It is a sight to be seen. And then you have squad Dems such as loser Rashida Tlaib, who says she truly believes in her heart that no human is illegal. At least the woke, radical progressives continue to stay on brand with nothing being illegal. You know, like robbing a store and saying, well, it's owed to you. Elon Musk has even weighed in on Title 42. Elon Musk saying, I don't think the American public understands that people from all countries are crossing the southern border, as it is so easy to do. This is just not a Mexico thing. This is China. This is other nations. This is any country with internet access that can see the signs. Title 42 expires. American dream, here you come. In the border city of El Paso, Texas, on average, they're seeing 2,200 migrants a day camped out or living on the street just a few blocks away from major ports of entry that connect the city of El Paso with the Mexican city of Juarez. The city will be opening 2 shelters as well as a civic center next week, if need be. 3 cities in Texas have already declared a state of emergency, including El Paso, Brownsville, and Laredo. But don't worry about it. Just yesterday, Alejandro Mayorkas issued a warning, very stern warning. The government will now flex its power under Title 8 to impose steep penalties on migrants who cross the border illegally, including a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry and potential criminal prosecution. Here's our fearless leader, our fearless Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. Listen.
If anyone arrives at our southern border after midnight tonight, they will be presumed ineligible for asylum and subject to steeper consequences for unlawful entry, including a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry and potential criminal prosecution. The transition to Title 8 processing will be swift and immediate. We have surged 24,000 Border Patrol agents and officers, thousands of troops, contractors, and over 1,000 asylum officers and judges to see this through.
Customs and Border Protection already have 26,000 people detained with a capacity of 19,000. Translation, they are over capacity. So let's think about this. You want a better life? You want to leave another country for the United States? You know the government is over capacity, and Mayorkas issues a warning. Yeah, I'm guessing they'll roll the dice and they will take their chances. And we know Mayorkas won't call it a crisis, so how about a national embarrassment? Probably not. But House Majority Steve Scalise will take a listen.
Because when you listen to Secretary Mayorkas, over and over again, he continues to spread this false narrative that the border's not open. What border is he talking about? Cuba's border? I have no idea if he knows just how bad this problem is. He created it. President Biden created it. They don't want to solve the problem. We're bringing a bill today. We're going to pass just in the next few hours off the House floor that will secure America's border. And the president opposes that bill. So that tells you exactly where the Biden administration is. They want an open border. They created an open border. Secretary Mayorkas knows it. He's not shooting straight with the American people. But the American people are watching this. They know what they see. They see a wide open border, record numbers of people coming in illegal, 5 million minimum in the last 2 years since he's been president. And it's only getting worse. It's creating drug problems where we're seeing 300 young kids a day dying in America from fentanyl and other drugs coming over our open southern border because of Joe Biden's policies. They don't care about this problem. House Republicans are taking action today to fix it. It's time the Senate and the president get engaged in this fight.
And of course, as we know, that bill is dead on arrival because the Senate and the president are Democrats. And just to highlight how bad this will be, even with Title 42 in place in the month of March, only 46% of encounters resulted in expulsion, meaning more than half made it across. Now you wave the white flag as Title 42 expires, and it will only get worse. Joe Biden is endangering American lives. You are opening up citizens of this country to increased risks of being killed, having violent altercations, having parents witness their kids overdose and die from the poison that is fentanyl, and this administration doesn't care. But Republican presidential candidates do care. Tim Scott saying the following, quote, "If you don't control your back door, you don't control your country. The first of my three-step plan is fending off fentanyl, which basically says, let's freeze the assets of Mexican cartels. They've led to 70,000 plus Americans losing their lives by bringing the drugs across our southern border. The second thing I say is if there's an impediment to them bringing it across, we are in much better shape. My other bill provides for $10 billion to build the wall and another $5 billion for us to have the surveillance technology that's going to catch fentanyl before it crosses the border." That was Tim Scott. So spend $10 billion to build or finish the wall? Now, why do that when you could be Joe Biden and spend $130,000 a day to store unused pieces of the wall? Scott concludes his plan by saying, combine those two together with another one coming soon, May 11th, the end of Title 42, which expired last night. Tim Scott says, I have a bill that allows us to reinstate Title 42 because the healthcare crisis that continues is not COVID, but it's fentanyl. So if we attack fentanyl as a healthcare crisis, we can reinstate Title 42, he outlined. That, coupled with the other two pieces of legislation, I think makes us a safer and healthier country. Trump had a plan. Tim Scott has a plan. Ron DeSantis has issued his plan in Florida. It seems like everyone has a plan except for the Biden administration. And why is that? Well, because this is all part of the plan. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
855-839-1210 if you want to jump in here on a Friday edition of Kayal Company. Nick, Greg, and Dawn. We'll come back and get into the reaction, the fallout from Wednesday night's town hall. CNN shot right up the board with ratings. But it was just a one-night splash, and it's all because of you-know-who. Details coming up next here on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Every once in a while, you come across a deal that you can't pass up. And if you live in an older home, you'll want to listen up. I've told you how USA Insulation completely changed how my home feels. I've told you how it's paid for itself in energy savings. And if you haven't had your home insulation upgraded yet, I'm here to tell you that now is the time. The discounts are bigger than they've ever been. This month, during National Home Improvement Month, you can get free install labor. You pay for the foam. USA Insulation will install it for free. Plus, there's an energy credit that puts up to $1,200 back in your pocket. You got to take advantage of this before the summer heat. They can insulate almost any type of home, including brick homes. Over 100,000 homeowners can't be wrong, including me. 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net. USAinsulation.net.
The following conversation brought to you by Omega. 800-300-9ERC. That's 800-300-9372. OmegaTaxCredits.com.
I thought I couldn't get the ERC if I got the PPP loan.
Nope. If you're a business owner with 5 to 500 employees, you might be eligible.
I thought it was really difficult to apply for the ERC.
Not if you use Omega. See, Omega is an accounting firm that has been around for over 15 years. They are a true accounting firm that will have a fiduciary relationship with you and your business, and they don't get paid until you get paid.
But I'm sure it takes forever to find out if you're eligible.
Again, no. If you call 800-300-9ERC, you could learn if you're a good candidate in less than 10 minutes.
I make a call that takes less than 10 minutes, and I can find out if my company is pre-qualified to receive a tax credit up to $26,000 per employee.
During the qualifying time frame, yes.
I'm checking out OmegaTaxCredits.com right now.
This conversation was voiced by actors that belong to a company that has already filed for their ERC.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Hi, everyone. This is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12 months same-as cash financing. And don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hello, everybody. Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. Love me do, I think it was, and from there it didn't take him long.
Happy Friday to everybody. 6:26 as we work our way towards Mother's Day weekend. Kayal Company, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Hopefully all the husbands, all the dads, all the boyfriends, all the sons took care of what they had to do, because your boy did. I've been in the clear for the last 3 days.
Good job.
I'm very peaceful right now. I'm at ease. Took care of my obligations. There's no delivery snafus, no wrong addresses. I'm going to be looking like a gem come Sunday, boys and girls. How about that? And thank you for the reminder, Dawn. I probably would have omitted.
Always.
I would have omitted the whole day. Would have won our passing. Like, wait a minute, it's June, Father's Day. Did I miss Mother's Day?
That would have been bad.
Nobody told me. But everybody knows about Title 42 expiring, and that was obviously the theme of the big take this morning. I just want to follow it up here with two pieces of thought from a very interesting article on one of the websites I like to frequent. And this columnist says, think about what happens on Tuesday. And this was written yesterday. So what happened 3 days ago when more than 11,000 people were caught crossing the border illegally? That set a single-day record. Most disturbingly of all, that number actually exceeded the expectations for after Title 42's lifting on Thursday. It's as if this administration is preparing for a hurricane and they got hit with a tornado, which, I feel like when you think about this administration, every time they try to think it's an issue of playing checkers, it's really a game of chess, and they get outclassed and outmatched every time. And then also, this is an interesting tidbit on Title 42. The Biden administration, you think about all the capacities of which you can hold people. And I told you in the big take that some of these facilities can hold up to 19,000 people, and they were already at 26,000, so they were 7,000 over capacity. The administration began releasing migrants without court dates to alleviate the overcrowding way back in March of 2021. So they were only in office as an administration for a little over 2 months when they started releasing people that didn't have court dates because the system is so backlogged. And then an anonymous person with the DHS gave a more honest explanation of the decision to do this, saying, quote, "We're already breaking and we haven't even hit the starting line yet." So I think what you see on TV is not an embellishment. Like, this is not fake news. This is legitimately people from not just Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, China. I mean, there's got to be at least a dozen nations of people that are coming to America for a better life, and we're just going to be outnumbered. It's a numbers game, and there's more of them than there are of Border Patrol, U.S. troops, and any other resources that these border states have at their disposal, Dawn. This is a total bummer. This is like the running of the bulls.
It's crazy, and you see the images of people, crossing the Rio Grande, and I have some friends who were down there, and my sister-in-law knows some of the nuns who went. Keep in mind, there are a lot of volunteers just going down there to help with a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
Faith-based, churches, synagogues, etc., because they know that there are, women and children and babies, and then the people in the small towns overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can handle it, but you think about the people crossing the Rio Grande, and they have everything, all their lives' belongings in a little, like plastic bag up above their head. And then all of a sudden that, it's a huge river.
Mm-hmm.
And so then all of a sudden somebody starts screaming and their whatever child got away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Now the people are involved from the U.S. side, the Mexico side, to try to help people from drownings. I mean, nobody even talks in the media about the drownings.
No.
It's just everywhere you look. Yeah, it's
bodies pulled out of the water.
Gosh.
But, Alejandro Mayorkas has said, I'm going to be very stern here, and we're going to issue a warning. If we catch you, you're barred for 5 years from re-entry, and you face possible prison time. You think that really is a deterrent? Like, when you're risking your life going across water, do you think hearing what Alejandro Mayorkas said is all of a sudden at the 23rd hour going to say, you know what, family? I just heard Mr. Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security in America, he seemed pretty serious about it. Why don't we turn around?
Well, he says it does. He says that deters people.
Oh, he also says it's not a crisis. So.
It's true.
I don't believe a word he says. So if you guys have thoughts, 855-839-1210. And then also, too, you have so many people trying to enter the country now legally as well. They showed a video yesterday of basically the highways. And imagine getting on like the Northeast Extension and the toll plaza as you're heading up towards the Lehigh Valley shuts down, right? And you can't get through and there's just cars backed up. Mm-hmm. That was the scene yesterday for people in vehicles trying to go about it the legal way. So you've got it from both ends, right? You've got auto transportation, legal way, coming across, backed up beyond belief. And then, of course, as Dawn, you're saying, people swimming across in water, climbing mountains. I mean, this is a sight to be seen. And I don't envy those people at all. Border Patrol, those people, whatever they get paid, $40,000, $50,000 a year, are probably working 10, 12-hour shifts at minimum. I wouldn't do it for any amount of money in the world.
It's insane that this is going on.
Yeah.
And at a time when you couple everything that's going on, at a time when we have, first of all, the election's happening on Tuesday. At the same time, people were calling in yesterday just saying, applying for jobs, just trying to get work, and aggravated to think that we are, we're paying all the people who do make it over. Of course, we're America, right?
Yep.
So we roll out the red carpet, whether they're right on the board. You have to help like babies and kids and moms. That's who, we are as a country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they get free stuff. We can't even imagine all the free stuff, from baby formula, diapers, clothes, shoes, food.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people whose benefits now, all the emergency benefits are done or are winding down.
Yep.
And, I'm at the grocery store now and I'm seeing more and more, moms, and they're at the Acme or the Giant, and they're like, they don't have enough. They're putting stuff back. We're getting to that point.
Yeah. You can't even afford to eat healthy. You got to eat processed foods and all this garbage that's terrible for you. Everything that's cheaper and also will kill you. So, it's a whole process. No doubt about it. 855-839-1210. All right. So CNN, how about this? Let's play the ratings game, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. So what do you say the number was for Wednesday night for the Donald and the Caitlin? Live on TV, 8 o'clock in New Hampshire, Republican town hall, primary, the whole charade. How about a total viewership of 3.12 million on CNN, which was a whopping number considering where CNN has typically been the last handful of years post-Donald Trump. So it took Trump for CNN to get basically Tucker-type numbers. Let that sink in for a moment. So how big of a draw is Donald Trump? Well, CNN typically in that time slot is getting tripled up by Fox. They're getting doubled up by MSNBC. Yet with Donald Trump and Caitlin Collins on Wednesday night for an hour and 10 minutes or so, from 8 until about 9:10, they got 3.12 million total viewers. They had over 700,000 viewers in their key demographic of 25 to 54-year-olds. But also to keep this in perspective, while that's massive for CNN, And a big number for Trump. Fox's last 6 Donald Trump town hall events all outperformed CNN's Donald Trump town hall event. So CNN Wednesday night, 3.12 million. Fox, in the last 6 times they've done a similar broadcast with Trump, 5.1 million, 4.4, 4.2, 3.8, 3.5, and 3.2, most of which were with Sean Hannity during 2020.
I know everybody looks at this as a win, and you're right. If I don't from a pure number standpoint, the percentage that you said that they went up, I mean, they probably quadrupled the number that they usually have in that time slot.
Yep.
But 3 million is not a great number for television. And it was what Tucker Carlson, The Five, those shows got on a nightly basis.
That's what they average.
So I look at this as a huge loss, actually. I don't know how you can be happy with 3 million viewers.
No, and the other piece of it that I will say to you is that in television, and let's just take you locally, one of the amazing things about 6ABC here in Philadelphia is that even when their lead-in was down, they would pop up off of their lead-in. They had that kind of loyal viewership.
Like when Jim Gardner was on?
For years and years.
Okay.
For decades.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the most powerful O&O station in the country, and that's why a lot of the shows are piloted here and so on and so forth. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but the deal is that when you look at these ratings and then you look at the drop-off, so what that tells me, if I'm an official at CNN, not only did you only draw 3.3 million, which, yeah, maybe it's the highest ratings they could get. So is that as good as it could get? But then look at the drop-off like a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So then look at what happens as soon as it's over at, 10 minutes after, right?
Mass exodus, right?
Mass exodus. And my question is then, look, where did they go?
Mm-hmm.
Did they go back to Fox? Did they go to bed? That's always the question in television that you want to look at. Your lead-in, how much did you pop up off of your last lead? It drops. Where did they go?
Yeah.
And so the fact that those sourpusses, yes, the Greater Chris, this segment is sponsored by the Greater Chris for you. The sourpusses come on at 10 minutes after, a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
So if I'm that official, I'm saying, okay, I've got an on-air look problem.
Yeah.
I've got a talent problem. First of all, if you're CNN, why do you have these 2 grumpy guys in their glasses, Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper, with their frowny faces, Mr. Pouty, sour puss faces?
Yeah.
Then you go to the wide shot of this panel, and they're all,
yeah.
They look like us this morning after the Sixers lost.
I didn't watch any of it, but I saw some clips of it yesterday because I follow Byron Donalds, Republican congressman from Florida, and he posted a lot of the clips that he was a part of on that panel because they did have a Republican on, and he was sitting in the far right corner. And it was just like the same approach as Caitlin Collins interrupting Trump all the time.
Yep.
They were interrupting him nonstop.
But he got it in, didn't he?
Yes, and he was legitimately like, "Are you going to stop interrupting me? Can I make my point? Like, if you're going to have me here, can I please speak?" So it was that same dynamic, and you know what that really is? That's typical of the left. They just want to shout you down, interrupt you. Once you start to make your point, they don't hear you anymore. Which is why you can't have a debate with them because they shut their brain off and they get emotional because the word Trump triggers them.
Yeah.
CNN, they really misjudged the situation, and I think that the damage that they did to that network from its viewers who don't like Trump. I'm just speaking on the CNN viewers who don't like Trump.
Yeah,
they probably turn more of them away than they gain new viewers.
And also think about it too. So if you're a Trump supporter or you're a Republican, whatever, you're just curious, and you watched that on Wednesday night. Well, yeah, the exodus is going to begin as soon as they take the camera off of Trump because you're not sticking around for the CNN post-game analysis because you know what their mantra is.
Yep.
You heard it for 7 years. You're not going to learn anything new from them.
But even with what, Chris Licht, and I know that he called in and Adweek had a big story on it yesterday. So the deal with Chris Licht is you know, we hear him and read what he's saying. He wants to cover the story, and he's right. And so you can't look at this, in my humble opinion, as saying, "Oh, he messed up because he triggered so and so," or he triggers. His objective, in my opinion, is to get viewers and listeners by doing the right thing. In other words, cover the story. My analysis on it is that town hall did not produce it well enough. In other words, we talked about the fact that they should have had more questions because it is a town hall. You have a room full of people.
Yep.
I feel that you needed a second person other than Caitlin, somebody who's just an objective person working the crowd. And every time, for example, when they applaud, look for the row of people who did not make applause, did not clap, and have your little roving reporter say, "Oh, we noticed this row. Why didn't you applaud? Who are those who did and didn't? You all voted for Trump, but you're not applauding. Why? Get some instant reaction, and then do what we do here. In other words, bring in Facebook, bring in social media, hold those Twitter polls, all of that." And make it more interactive, rather than that constant Mr. President, like that whole dad-daughter thing. Dad, you can't say that anymore. No, you didn't. 52 miles. 50. It was so repetitive, and it was just this bickering back and forth. Dad, I want the car keys. Can't have them. I want the car keys. That's what it felt like.
Well, I took a shot at tequila every time Caitlin said Mr. President.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
How did you even show up Thursday morning?
It's remarkable. My recovery skills are impressive, aren't they?
I just think that the downside for they how can I make this a very clean analogy? They put it all on the table for one night of good ratings, but the long aftermath of it, I think, is going to be more detrimental, as you will hear coming up in the cut sheet, where Anderson Cooper basically apologizes for what happened and saying, "Hey, if you don't watch CNN anymore, I understand."
Can you? I mean, think about the audacity that takes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's like a tenured professor at this point, where it seems like he's unfireable despite the fact he's got no audience. But it's remarkable that you can sit on there and say, "Hey, if you never want to listen to," imagine if I said that here. If you never want to listen to Talk Radio 1210 again, I'll understand why. You think I'm on the air tomorrow?
No. Yeah.
And Anderson Cooper's basically bashing his employer, who he should be thankful by the love of God that he still has a job, because nobody cares for that guy at all. And he's sitting there saying, "Yeah, I think our network was a disaster tonight."
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, look, I like the honesty of it, because I love drama. I love the reality TV of all of this. But if I'm Chris Licht or the bosses below him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This is not, you know what I mean? Like, just if I understand you have these opinions, but just do your show.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that they have I promise you this.
Okay.
Part of the problem is the culture at CNN. So we talk about cancel culture. We talk about here in Philadelphia, the crime culture.
Yeah, culture matters.
They have a culture problem at CNN. I promise you that in that control room, I would love to hear, and usually they get audio of everybody in the control room. I would love to hear that audio.
Yeah.
Of the control room, the griping and the snippy comments, and then also I would love to hear if they just kept a streaming audio of everybody on the set, because everybody's mic'd up on their wireless mics and they're listening the entire time. That's so part of the reaction of, and you saw Caitlin throughout the night as she is getting more and more sort of snippy, and that's because in her ear the entire night they were riding her.
I was just going to say, do you think they micromanage the hell out of her?
100%. And she's and I've been there, so I can promise you, you have to be a very confident veteran on-air talent to withstand that. And if a more veteran on-air talent, if they did that to me, I would have taken my earpiece out.
Yeah.
Like Don Lemon.
And
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
I would have taken my earpiece out, but I would have seized that moment.
Yeah, and if they're in her ear constantly,
you can't do your job.
She can't even hear what Trump's saying.
Exactly.
So she has
so
no
we're blaming
idea.
We're blaming the producers. Is this what I'm hearing from you guys?
This is a typical on-air talent where
it's the producers. They're in my ear.
It's like Harden blaming the refs last night.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if they had that genius, and here's why producers and Greg Stocker will appreciate this: producers and writers matter. If they had, let's say, think outside the box type producers who were producing that in a different way, they could have had, to me, a slam dunk evening.
Yeah.
And if somebody, one person in that whole operation had said, do not stop this at 9:10. Let's listen in to that whole town hall back and forth. But I wanted so badly for somebody on a wireless mic to go through the crowd after 9:10 even and say, what do you think about tonight? How do you feel about this? And I wanted to know, why were there rows of people who were not applauding? Who are those individuals? Are they independents? Because a lot of the people said they voted for Trump. So what was that dynamic? We never got to that.
Yeah, there's a story this morning, I think it was in Puck News, that basically said that half of the audience, we heard the more vocal half of the audience, but half of the audience just kind of sat there silent and was kind of shocked with some of the stuff he had to say. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it is an interesting dynamic, and to Dawn's point, I would have much rather have heard from those people than the panel on CNN.
Right.
Wendy Parsons on YouTube. By the way, we're streaming live on YouTube. Wendy Parsons on YouTube says most people won't turn on CNN no matter what. He probably had more people watching him on the internet. That is true. That number doesn't include streaming.
Right.
So if you're watching it on your device, which I was for the first half of it, that doesn't come into account for the actual ratings.
Very true. 855-839-1210. We will come back. Donald Trump might get sued a third time from E. Jean Carroll. Joe Tacopina's probably got to be hitting the bottle pretty hard these days. I don't know if he advised Trump to avoid saying things or if Trump just said, you know what, I'm going to say whatever I say. But
nobody says Trump tells Trump anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Joe gets paid.
Yeah.
What's he making, $850 an hour?
Yeah, Joe's like, I'll do whatever you
Cha-ching.
want. Yeah, exactly right. The details on a potential third defamation case. That's next here on Kayal Company as we wrap up the 6 o'clock hour. Next on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to tell you about my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Group in East Norriton. I've always enjoyed talking to his staff and patients, and it drives home a big point. Dr. Bentz is a problem solver. People come from all over. Other dentists refer their tougher cases to Dr. Bentz. Whatever your issues are, Dr. Bentz is going to develop a custom plan for your long-term oral health. And yes, give you that smile you've always dreamed of. Plus, if you or a family member have been avoiding going to the dentist due to fear or anxiety, even if it's been years, Dr. Bentz offers sedation dentistry to make your visit a pleasant experience. So if you've been putting off a nagging minor problem, take care of it now before it gets worse. From routine care to dental implants, on-site digital lab, great staff, they'll make the visit the most comfortable and convenient possible. Get the oral care you need and deserve and that beautiful smile that you've always wanted. Visit thebentzdentalgroup.com. Book that appointment today, bentzdentalgroup.com or 610-272-6949.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra.
Love the orchestra. I love it.
Joe's great. He encapsulates a Philly sports fan.
Oh, I love the music. I especially like the old songs from Philly.
The impressions of different voices is fantastic.
Charlie Manuel.
Of course, Merrill Reese.
It's fantastic.
This show is a love letter to the Philadelphia sports fans.
See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Ocean City Music Pier, 8th Street and the Boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey, Saturday, July 15th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Taylor Swift is in Philly for 3 sold-out shows at the Link. And to celebrate, 96.5 TDY is now 90 Swift 5 TAY. All Taylor's hits, all the time. Tell the Swifties in your life.
We got to talk about one of my favorite happy places. The fun never stops. Action, excitement, entertainment. You really do get it all. Parks, Casino, and Sportsbook, the #1 casino in all of Pennsylvania, the only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend. I wish I would have been there last night, because even though we lost last night, at least I would have been in a beautiful place, as I say. 8:40 tonight, baseball. Philadelphia, a heavy road favorite in Colorado. And, we got great pitching going on. Pro basketball playoffs, obviously. So as we look ahead to what's going on with Sunday nights, you think about Game 7. That's awesome, too. And then the series with L.A., they've been favorites. So who are we going to play Sunday night? You got to check out all the different odds and what's going on with Parks Casino and Sportsbook. It's the $80,000 Money Mania sweepstakes only at Parks Casino and Sportsbook. Earn entries beginning May 14th for your chance to win a share of $55,000 free slot play and for a chance to take home $25,000. Yeah, in cash. So don't miss these top headliners coming to the X-Site Center inside Parks Casino. Dionne Warwick, Friday, June 23rd. Sweet Caroline Tour, Friday, July 21st. Wallflowers, Saturday, August 5th. Dave Koz and Friends, Summer Horns, Friday, August 11th. And Wayne Newton, Saturday, August 26th. For tickets and a complete list of shows, visit parkscasino.com, PARX Casino and Sportsbook. This is how you win. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling our media PA to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal Company as we continue Friday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The segment brought to you by Holland Floor Covering. They are the region's premier flooring dealer. Family operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their two showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com. All right, so E. Jean Carroll apparently doesn't want to deal with Donald Trump and his hanky-panky stuff, as she could very well now sue Trump a third time after his comments on CNN. This coming out yesterday after Donald Trump on Wednesday's town hall on CNN said that the sexual assault and the defamation was fake and a made-up story. Her lawyer said on Thursday. Trump went on to say that this is a complete con job, a hoax, and a lie, to which Ms. Carroll, according to her attorney, says, quote, "It is just stupid. It's just disgusting, vile, foul. It wounds people, and she has been insulted by better people." Ms. Carroll said that she has been infuriated when her longtime stylist told her that her 15-year-old son was talking about what Mr. Trump had said. Carroll goes on to say, quote, "I am upset on the behalf of young men in America. They cannot listen to this balderdash and this old-timey view of women," balderdash, which is a caveman view.
Oh, boy.
So apparently, quote, according to her attorney, everything is on the table, obviously, and we have to give serious consideration to it. We have to weigh the various pros and cons, and we'll come to a decision in the next day or so, probably. So from the Trump standpoint, and his attorney, Joe Tacopina, probably has no say over what comes out of Trump's mouth. But we did talk about the way he handled this Wednesday night on yesterday's show. So let's look at it quickly here from two different perspectives. What Trump had to say in regards to E. Jean Carroll for the women out there that maybe were undecided on Trump, or maybe they voted for him in 16, but they didn't vote for him in 20, and maybe they were on the fence. So from that perspective, and then also from the perspective of a third lawsuit, I don't think Trump gives a rip about the lawsuit. And maybe he doesn't give a rip about the female voter, but I think the first part, the female voter, far more impactful on Trump's life than potentially another $5 or $10 million lawsuit.
First of all, if there is a lawsuit, then it should be played out in a court in New Hampshire. And I would like to see if there's a difference between men, in New York, because I think there might be.
Yep.
But again, why would he even mention her name or talk about her? He needed to pivot and say something, anything different. The best thing to have said was, this is an example of, this is a a Justice Kavanaugh type situation where unfortunately somebody comes forward but don't even reference the woman who is a sympathetic 80-year-old figure, right? Just pivot. And so I don't think he's being dishonest. He may not know this person. Everything he said may very well be true. And when we're talking in the hallway, we may speak that way. The problem is he's a former president, he's a billionaire, and he cannot speak. He cannot speak that way.
But let's think about this, because remember yesterday we talked about how we played you the clip of, Trump can't let 2020 go. And we're like, well, no, he was asked about 2020 by Caitlin Collins. So it's not as if Trump brought up E. Jean Carroll on his own accord. He was asked about it. So, but then the question becomes, how do you answer it? And if, to your point, Dawn, if he pivots out of it, is that almost a public admission in the court of public opinion?
No.
Because if he's not combative and feisty, there might be somebody sitting there and saying, all right, I mean, he basically waved the white flag there, right? But it's probably the prudent and smart thing to do, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, if he had said, hey, unfortunately, I took, when I take a picture with somebody or I'm captured in a photo somewhere at an event with hundreds of people, that apparently gives somebody the right to sue me. He could have said something like that. So, I just don't even want to go there. Except now, he could have said, I never did this thing. I never did that. I never would have done that. It's just, I'm a very public person. He could have said all the things. I owned the casino next door. I was in New York City. I was a very recognizable person. He could have said all of those things. He still could have said that. He could have still said the part where he said, on my children's lives,
right,
which I never say. I swear to you, I never did this horrible thing.
Yep.
He could have said all of that, and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But instead, he had to say, whatever, she's a crazy chick, and go to the alleged victim, the self-proclaimed victim here, and she is a sympathetic figure, and that she's somebody who just won over a Manhattan jury, even though they didn't believe her on the highest charge.
Right.
And even though on appeal, this thing will probably get thrown out, or at least it'll get mitigated.
Yeah, there's a good shot of that happening for sure.
You're in this weird situation where if what he's saying is true, you want to defend yourself against these charges, but you also don't want to sound callous.
Right.
So you walk this fine line where you want to fight back, but you also don't want to call her a whack job.
Yeah, you almost have to have like a pre-scripted, measured, calculated response. And he was very witty, and he was prepared for a lot of things. Not that he wasn't prepared for this, but I think he could have framed it a little bit better.
Well,
you think?
Look, she had to bring it up. It was the biggest news story at the time.
Yes.
But he also should have known that she was going to bring it up and had some sort of, I don't want to say scripted because there's nothing about Trump that's scripted, which is why people like him. But he needed to have a more measured response than he did.
Yeah.
And he's, as soon as he said that, the first thing that popped into my mind was, wow, he just was found liable for defamation, and he is potentially defaming her again, or in a court's mind.
Yep. 855-839-1210. If you would like to jump in on the conversation, we have a charge coming down and a individual that will turn himself in today. The details on that New York subway chokehold scenario situation from last week, as that kind of went away the last couple of days, but it's back in the news. Yeah. And if you are a police officer, a Marine, a strong individual, moving forward, once again, if something bad happens in your sight and you try to be the Good Samaritan, you'll end up being painted as the bad guy, sadly. The details coming up next as we kick off Hour 2 of Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Toyota is proud to present the 96 Stotesbury Cup Regatta on the Schuylkill River, May 19th and 20th. Enjoy the Toyota experience in Stotesbury Village near the grandstand finish line, where the 2022 Camry and RAV4 hybrids will be on display. Come and visit the world's oldest and largest high school rowing competition along the Schuylkill River and see the 2022 Toyota Tacoma, plus a special Eagles branded Tundra
iForce Max at the Athletes Village near the launching dock. See you at the regatta. Toyota, let's go places.
It's Borgata's 20th anniversary. Come celebrate with over 20 wheels during the Road to Riches giveaway. This May and June, 1,200 players will win a share of $1.2 million in prizes, including 4 luxury golf carts and 2 Lexus SUVs. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday and 2 grand prize drawings on May 27th and June 24th. The Road to Riches giveaway, only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. Do you have water in your property, soggy yard, sinking hardscape, pool liner floating? Garden State Earthworks is your drainage solution. 856-848-4444 or GardenStateEarthworks.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
The Dude at Dental Group, official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles, is a proud supporter of the Talk Radio 1210 Radiothon for the Travis Manion Foundation. Dr. Dilip Dudat grew up in North Wales, graduated from North Penn High School and Temple Dental School. Today, Dr. D and his team supports our local area by providing advanced dental care using the latest technology at 30 area practices and contributes to the local economy with 250 team members. The Dudat Dental Group, proud supporter of the Travis Manion Foundation. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
Get to Dell Toyota this Saturday for a customer appreciation pig roast for Dell's 48th anniversary sale. Food, music, prizes, and more this Saturday from 12 to 2. See you there.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Camden County welcomes the Dadville Regatta to the Cooper River this weekend. Taylor Swift kicks off her 3-day stint at the Link tonight with Phoebe Bridgers among the openers. Officials say one of the 2 prisoners who escaped from the Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center was captured Thursday night.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Tamara Green, a.k.a. Strawberry, was a beautiful, young, exotic dancer and mother of 3 who was gunned down months after she was connected to a wild party at the Detroit mayor's mansion. The party's rumor, her murderous fact. Who Killed Strawberry is Odyssey's riveting new true crime podcast. 20 years later, Who Killed Strawberry is still a mystery, although there are lots of theories about why she was killed. Was it connected to the party, to a grudge, or to something else? Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you tired of paying too much? Rescue Natural Supplements are rolling back prices to 2013 on top of Memorial savings all month long. That's right. For the entire month of May, you can buy 2 products, get 1 free, or buy 3 products and get 2 free on every single Rescue supplement. Combine decade-old rolled back prices with free bottles for huge savings. Stock up on all your favorites. 1250 Omegas, cholesterol supporters, probiotic, and brand new health gummies are all on sale. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online, res-q.com, res-q.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big. Rescue is over 50 products to target your health goals, and everything is on sale. Rolled back prices and memorial deals start now and last through the end of the month. So go shop res-q.com today. That's res-q.com.
Calling on Sewell, New Jersey to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I heard you crying loud.
Hour number 2, Friday morning here on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Greg Stocker, Dawn Stensland as we head till 10 o'clock this morning. What's on the cut sheet? That's coming up at 7:45 this morning. And we are closing in on our goal of 3,000 subscribers to YouTube. What are we, a dozen away? 2 dozen?
We're like
I think I saw 2.9 yesterday or 2.8 something.
2.94. So what were we, about 60, 55
yep.
away?
Yep.
I was disappointed we couldn't get there yesterday, but
today... Chris Lick was disappointed that CNN couldn't get to 4 million viewers on Wednesday.
Today, I mean, we can get 60 new subscribers today.
Absolutely.
So let's do this. Let's try and get to 3,000 new YouTube subscribers by 10 a.m.
Yes.
Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. By the way, if you're watching now, hit the like button as well so we get in people's feeds.
Yes.
Hit the like button. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Let's try. Can you be the 3,000th subscriber?
Yeah, come on, let's go. Before you do anything Mother's Day weekend related, just click that button and then go on with your life.
By the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mother's Day, quick question.
Yeah.
Dawn Stensland.
Yes.
Do I need a gift from me as well as my son, or my son only?
Yes.
From you too.
Even I know this.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually got the girls with their name on something from Olivia, from Mia to Mommy. And then I, did the whole bit of, I thought my mom was the greatest mom in the world until I saw you parent our daughters. I did that whole charade,
right.
Which is true.
That whole charade.
Yeah, but that whole song and dance. That's how you win points. That's how you win points, Stalker.
All right,
Come on, man.
So two separate gifts. One from Even if the one from Dylan is not too shabby of a gift.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like Big Daddy spent some coin on
but
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy needs to take care of baby mama because your wife is still your baby mama.
I get it.
Yep.
So I have to give it to my mother too. It's like, oh God, there's so many people to buy for.
It's an expensive holiday.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But mothers make the world go round.
That's right.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Yeah, like mothers are great. Honest to God, dads are pretty cool too. But what we could do today? This is another typical hack sports radio show.
No.
What are the greatest TV sitcom mothers of all time?
Oh no!
Yeah, get that flooding in on the comment section on YouTube.
YouTube can do whatever you want. Well, Dawn's a mother, so it doesn't matter. But Nick, you can do whatever you want to. I think one gift is suffice.
Yeah.
We don't need two gifts. I mean, come on.
All right.
But you could get her flowers. You could get her a tree to plant.
A tree?
We're
cutting down trees in our backyard. I don't want to put more up.
Those aren't the kind of trees I prefer, Dawn.
But get like
how about just flowers or something?
Get some flowers.
Here, lady.
Yeah.
But like a decorative,
Thanks for birthing my son.
Japanese maple. The reason it needs to plant like a little tree, an evergreen or something, is then it grows with your son. Then you take a picture of it every year on his birthday.
Do flowers ever go stale as a female on the receiving end of a gift? Like you can never go wrong with flowers.
You can never go wrong with flowers.
Okay. Which is really interesting because if you think about it, they're dead in like 5 days, right? And how many flowers can you possibly get a lady? If you've been with the same woman like I have since Prohibition.
Since high school.
Since high school. Feels like since Prohibition. Like you've done the roses, I've done the red roses, the pink roses, and the white flowers, and then this little bouquet. And it's just like, I'm glad that women are satisfied with flowers because it makes it easy for the guy, and I'm not complaining. Like I don't want my job to be more difficult. But I'm surprised that like that never runs its course for the lady in your life. Very fascinating.
No, it's a lovely gesture. And it could be a basket with like a little azalea in it. So it could be something that you plant.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be cut flowers.
Azaleas are a nice touch.
They are.
Yes,
They're very
they
nice.
are.
You can get them at the little, farmer's market. They're like $7.
There you
Buy
go.
2 of them, put them in a basket, vavoom.
Is it acceptable to buy flowers for the lady in your life from like the grocery store? Like Giant will have their little flower section, or do you got to go to like a true floral place?
It'd be nicer if you went to like Robertson's, but if you don't, that's okay. Just if you buy them from the grocery store, take them out of the plastic.
Yeah.
Put them in a nice little vase.
Yeah. Yeti376 on YouTube says, "What if your dad now identifies as a woman? Do you have to get them both a Mother's Day present?" It's a great question.
Wow.
What if I identify as a mother now? Do I get a gift?
I'm sure
Did you give birth? Because I don't think you did.
I mean, how dare you assume, Dawn, that I did not give birth to my son?
These are the kind of questions you can get answered on TikTok.
I'm going to bring you into HR for assuming that I can't give birth to my kid. Holy crap!
All right, 7:09 Friday morning. We will get to the Marine that is now being charged with second-degree manslaughter in just a moment. But first, Dawn Stenslin with round number 2 of the news.
Yeah, in round number 2 of the news, we are sponsored this morning by Piazza Auto Group this morning. You think about children, Philadelphia children, under fire, and how many children in the city of Philadelphia have been shot so far this year, nearly 70. The latest to die, a 17-year-old boy shot in the face, dinner time last night. This was in East Germantown, and also injured 3 others, including a 7-year-old child. So it happened 5900 block of North 21st Street. And the other 3 victims, by the way, ages 7, 15, and 16, they're all in stable condition. It just gave me chill bumps when I heard one of the grandmother runs out and says, why? Right before Mother's Day. And you had moms and grandmoms coming out on the street, just shrieking. We don't know the circumstances as to what happened here. Was this some kind of an attempted robbery or bullying? I don't know that information as police investigate. But this 17-year-old to die is the 13th child to die in a shooting in Philadelphia. So nobody speaks of this as mass shootings, but I would say mass amount of kids being shot in the city of Philadelphia, not making national news.
Shot in the face.
Oh, my goodness. One of the inmates, so they got 1 out of 2, who escaped Philadelphia last Sunday, and then we didn't know about it. There's a lot of fallout, lockdown at the prison in Philadelphia, but we still have 1 escapee still at large, considered armed and dangerous. So police and U.S. Marshals still searching for 18-year-old Amin Hurst, who is accused of murdering 4 people and injuring 2 others. The guy they got, 24-year-old Nasir Grant, he was arrested in Strawberry Mansion. He was hiding out, pretending to be and dressed in full covered garb, pretending to be a Muslim woman with the full kind of holy headwear and covering face, etc., trying to pose as a woman. And when he was arrested, said he was surprised they caught him.
No, well, yeah, he probably figured in today's day and age that nobody would question him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't
I'll just dress as a woman.
Are you a man or a woman? What does that mean? I'm a convict on the run. That's what it means.
So we've been watching carefully what's going on with the end of Title 42, ended now more than 7 hours ago, looking at the southern border, but as well looking at the impact on our region with pandemic-era federal funding programs coming to an end. And we're watching that very carefully and wondering if we will get another busload of migrants coming to 30th Street Station, as we did receive in our sanctuary city of Philadelphia, receive a bus full of folks, including children and mommies and babies. That was midweek this week. So we're watching that for you very carefully. And Nick Kayal in a moment is going to talk about Daniel Penny, expected to turn himself in this morning, to face those criminal charges in connection with the chokehold death of Jordan Neely aboard that New York City train. So I don't see yet, Nick, that he has turned himself in after the Manhattan DA, that you've talked about a lot, we've talked about, said that he's facing manslaughter charges.
Expected surrender later this morning.
They're gonna throw the book at this guy. It is this poor bastard, honestly.
Yeah. We've got the details coming up.
So we are sponsored, and then we've got to talk about sports. We got to talk about sports, unfortunately. Boo! I wrote in my script, boo!
Yes.
This is my bias. The Sixers lost to the Celtics, 95-86, Game 6, series tied 3-3 now. We could have gotten her done last night, didn't. So now we go to Game 7, and that's in Boston Sunday night. It'll be 3:30 or 8 p.m., depending on what happens in Game 6 tonight.
You want a silver lining to this, a little positive spin?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love it.
They've already beaten the Celtics twice in Boston this series. Now, the odds of them doing it a third time and 4 opportunities probably slim.
Oh, boy.
But they do have 2 wins on TD Garden floor, so it can be done. But I'm not going to bet on it.
So I'm trying to figure.
Do I have a FanDuel read today? I do, coming up in 8:30.
You do,
so
because it's Game 6 tonight in Miami.
Yeah.
Pick.
So win for Miami wins the series.
Yep.
And they're the home favorite.
Yeah.
right?
And there was, if the Sixers can find a way to win, moving forward, it's going to be so juicy because if you play Miami, you get to play Jimmy Butler, who used to be a Sixer. And if you get to the finals, potentially you could either play the Lakers, who you played 40 years ago the last time you were there, or you could play Denver, who's got the other MVP the last couple of years with that Jokic kid. I remember we were talking about the story about how the ESPN guys the NBA voters for MVP, they're all racist.
I think Denver won last night.
Did they win that? Okay, so Denver's punched their ticket.
Yeah.
They'll play the Lakers if the Lakers win. So
yeah,
it's going to be very juicy for the Sixers if we can somehow find a way to win on Sunday. A lot of good storylines coming up.
That's all I want for Mother's Day.
Okay.
Just forget the azaleas, the flowers, whatever. I do want to go to brunch.
Okay.
I want a Sixers win for Mother's Day.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it.
And our Phils, obviously our Phillies.
The Sixers line for FanDuel is plus 7.5.
I'm taking the Sixers plus 7.5 all day.
So our Phils at Colorado Rockies, because I was looking at, we got baseball tonight at 8:40. But
yes, we do.
Thank goodness it's not a home game because we got Taylor Swift.
Right.
In South Philadelphia.
Swifties have invaded.
That would be like a hot mess.
It is.
Well, you know what's a good thing? We love our ride. We love Piazza Premium Automobiles. Discover the luxury of the Mercedes-Benz lineup, including the midsize GLC SUV, as well as the fully electric EQ models. Test drive today at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and now Atlantic City. Thank you, Piazza Premium Automobiles, for being our 7 a.m. news sponsor. And you're going to love the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast, which is 85 degrees and sunny for you today. I forgot to mention the lady CEO taking over, Elon Musk. We'll talk about Elon as well. He named a new CEO is going to take over. But in the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast for the all-important weekend, we've got Saturday, there's rain. So a good day today for planting because then it rains on Saturday. Sorry, about a 57-ish% chance that we'll see showers roll through mid-70s. But that tees us up for a lovely Mother's Day, 75 degrees, partly sunny for your Sunday. May 14th is Mother's Day. That's the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast. And this is Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. So, this Alvin Bragg situation in Manhattan with our individual Daniel Penny, as well as the death of Jordan Neely, has taken a pretty big pivot in the last 48 hours. Because as of Wednesday, it looked as if Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg could have already charged the former Marine for allegedly choking Jordan Neely to death on the subway last week. But he was apparently heading down the road of going to a grand jury because of the explosive nature of this case. That's what legal experts were saying on Wednesday, because Bragg was caught between the hammer and the anvil. Many have called for authorities to charge Daniel Penny, who wrapped Neely, 30, in the fatal chokehold May 1st, while others were arguing that the 24-year-old was just trying to protect himself as well as fellow subway riders from a threatening homeless man. And as we know, the guy has a rap sheet as long as the line at the southern border. And they were going to potentially present this case to a grand jury and allow the grand jury to choose whether or not to bring an indictment forward. Well, that all changed yesterday as they decided to charge Daniel Penny with a Class E felony, second-degree manslaughter, which is a Class E felony is the lowest felony you can be charged with. It is essentially negligent homicide, and this ranges as far as a potential sentence, a minimum of 1 to 3 years if found guilty or if he pleads guilty, a maximum of 5 to 15 years. I don't think you would see the maximum based on every bit of evidence we have seen from that video, but a minimum of 1 to 3 years. And I think my takeaway from this story is now this, and this is what I said going into break about 25 minutes ago. If you are a strong individual, you're a former Marine, you're an off-duty police officer, or if you're just anybody who says, you know what, I see something happening right in front of my eyes that is potentially a threat to me, my family, my friends, or any other innocent bystanders just riding public transportation, you need to think long and hard about this now. Because if you step in and end up eliminating the threat or assaulting the guy who is posing the threat, you then become the bad guy in this insane world we live in where left-wing prosecutors will look at all of the other circumstances, excluding the facts that should matter. Well, what was the defendant's race? What was the perceived threat's race? It doesn't matter that Jordan Neely had over 40 arrests. It doesn't matter that he punched a 67-year-old lady in the face. It doesn't matter that he punched a 64-year-old man in the face. All that matters is the race of Jordan Neely, and, well, he was a very good guy who did Michael Jackson parody dances in the subway. That didn't matter that he was arrested 40 times. It didn't matter that he's assaulted elderly people. These are the only facts that matter to the Alvin Braggs, to the Krasners of the world, any Soros-funded left-wing prosecutor. They now view the innocent individual to be the one who they're going to pursue if you step out of line against somebody that is a minority and regardless of their criminal history. And you have to ask yourself now, is it worth my not only risking my life with potentially somebody that could actually kill me, or is it worth risking my freedom, or should I just keep my iPhone in my hand and bury my face in my Facebook feed and just pretend that the threat doesn't exist? Just close your eyes long enough and the boogeyman will go away.
There's no upside to getting involved in this.
There's none.
None. There's
none whatsoever.
And this outcome, or what's going to be this outcome, it just reinforces that the criminals win again.
Yes. I have no idea. What are you supposed to do? Like, so you just, and here's the thing too, put yourself in that person's shoes. And that's probably what's going to happen, because I think they're going to use, and we talked about this last week, this reasonableness test. It's not a guarantee that, you can truly find a definitive answer, but, they'll ask the question, would an average, everyday New Yorker view it to be reasonable to do what Mr. Penny did if this person was in the same exact situation, same circumstances, same scenario? And I got to believe there's going to be at least one person, if this goes to a trial, on that jury that says, yeah, I think what Mr. Penny did, it's reasonable to assume that I would have done the same thing. And here's why I think he only gets, if it goes to trial and it goes against him, here's why I think he only gets the minimum 1 to 3 years. He rolled over Mr. Neely in the recovery position. Like, he was aware of what he was doing and also rolling him over after he got done choking him out, which you're trained to do to put somebody in that recovery position if you believe they have not perished, but they're just unconscious from the chokehold. So I think that kind of mitigates a lot of things on this front. And, look, I'm not saying you should take a plea deal at all, right? I mean, minimum, even 1 year is a long time to have your freedom taken away. But at 24 years old, you're going to have to ask yourself this, and you're going to have to roll the dice. Minimum of 1 to 3, maximum of 5 to 15. And obviously the lawyers and people will tell him what the odds are and what it's looking like. But I don't envy this guy, and I certainly don't envy anybody else, especially people that ride SEPTA here in Philadelphia. We see this all the time, all this nonsense going on public transportation. And what the DAs have told you, just keep your head down. Don't step in.
I don't know the financial situation of Mr. Penny, but his lawyer is that's going to depend a lot on what happens.
Steve Razor is his lawyer's name.
Okay.
Well, and that's the question, because sometimes you do have a group of attorneys who step in and he's not paying them, but there are different, they obviously are a group that they want to defend a veteran, and they feel like there's more going on here, so sometimes they're funded by maybe more conservative groups.
Yeah, or they could just, this could be pro bono, because this will be a highly publicized case.
Exactly.
And the firm of Razor and Kenneth, they could very well accelerate their firm if they get a victory for this guy in what will largely be a big-time media event.
Or we start a GoFundMe page for this guy to hire the best lawyer he possibly can. Not saying that these guys are the best lawyers. I have no idea who
it's
they are.
It's already started. The GoFundMe's already been created.
Has it?
Yep. Oh, you know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because common sense, logical people sit there and they say, this Penny guy is not a criminal. I mean, in the circumstances and the facts matter. If this individual, Jordan Neely, didn't have a rap sheet, the way you go about this is different, right?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is you have somebody who's a proven dangerous person in the past. And on the other hand, Penny, he served in the Marines between graduated high school 2016, served in the Marines 2017 to 21, 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines. By the way, was awarded 2 Sea Service Deployment Ribbons, 5 medals, including the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, the Humanitarian Service Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. I mean, honorable, served our country honorably and has zero kind of criminal, zero anything bad in his record. And so, somebody decorated as serving our nation, I just think if this goes to a jury, but think about even if it goes to a jury, even if he's exonerated, how many years of his life as this 24-year-old? Is it 2 years? And then do they recharge him?
Well, and then even in just your everyday life, because what'll happen. If he's found not guilty, riots, protests, left-wing politicians, social media, fanning flames, the whole bit. The whole fallout, if it doesn't go the way of the man who got choked out, it's just going to be a total disaster.
What's ironic about this is if the roles were reversed and this gentleman who died was actually the aggressor and he went after this guy, Penny, on a subway and he killed him, the prosecutors in New York would have been like, well, he's mental health, he's homeless, mental health, and he would have gotten off scot-free.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this, this poor SOB is not going to get off scot-free.
Because he's a white guy.
Exactly.
And so that's just it. If you're a white guy on especially a white male, but even maybe female, and you're in a situation where you could jump in and heroically save somebody, this is going to cause people to hesitate and not get involved.
That's correct. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Coming up next, we got 2 things to get to as we work our way towards what's on the cut sheet. Temple University making fellow Owls proud, and also the Eagles' schedule has come out. What does it sound like down the hall on Sports Radio 94 WIP? We will eavesdrop on their conversation on the other side. It's Kayal Company, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra.
His whole family is unbelievably talented. I can't believe it.
Oh my goodness, it was absolutely wonderful. All the voices and the singing. I mean, he could just imitate anyone, any sound. Excellent. Oh my goodness, it was just too hilarious. Too hilarious.
See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic Academy High School, 1500 Central Ave in North Wildwood, Saturday, July 22nd. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Taylor Swift is in Philly for 3 sold-out shows at the Link. And to celebrate, 96.5 TDY is now 90 Swift 5 TAY. All Taylor's hits, all the time. Tell the Swifties in your life.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
And so many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Don Stensland weekdays 10 till noon. Dom Giordano noon till 3. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
7:32, Kayal Company as we roll on Friday edition. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Also, on the free Odyssey app, you can watch us live on YouTube. Subscribe and like us on YouTube so we can hit 3,000 subscribers in 5 weeks, I believe, since we launched the YouTube channel on a daily basis.
It's been
6 weeks, 5 weeks,
5 or 6 weeks.
Late March, I believe.
Yeah.
Nice work out of everybody.
Yeah, people are shocked that we are able to do this. And I was just like, well, then you obviously haven't been paying attention.
Correct.
It's the most loyal audience in radio.
Exactly right.
And the best audience.
The best. 855-839-1210 if you want to join the conversation on the phones, Twitter, and Instagram. You can chime in that way as well at 1210 WPHT or in the comment section on YouTube. The Kayal Company content community.
Love it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The comment content, whatever, community. A lot of C's in there, a lot of K's.
A lot of alliteration.
A lot of W's and L's coming up in about 5 minutes here as we're going to eavesdrop on the other talk station down the hallway in our building. But before we get to that, Temple University, they offer now...
Which is your alma mater.
Yes. And Anthony Terenzo's a big Temple guy, even though he never really went
to
there.
Westchester.
Yeah, he went to Westchester, but he claims Temple for some reason. He'll probably be the president of Temple one day, in addition to the CEO of Odyssey and the mayor of Philadelphia all simultaneously. We'll start calling him the mayor from now on. Be a great nickname for Dorenzo, by the way. So Temple University is offering a porn studies course. They're calling it the Other Sex Ed. Yes, Temple University students are eager to discuss porn. Professor Jennifer Pollitt, the assistant director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at the Philadelphia Institution, said the student cap for her new porn studies course shot up from 25 to 40, with many more on the waiting list for the popular class. So apparently at Temple, they're lined up too, like they're at the southern border, but they're just trying to get into the porn studies course. The course, called Social Perspectives and Digital Pornography, the Other Sex Ed, seeks to allow students to discuss sexuality, intimacy, power dynamics, and the impact of the porn industry in an academic space. She said, quote, "I hope my students leave recognizing how valuable it is to research and to study pornography across all disciplines and to figure out what we can learn." She goes on to talk about how we've talked about how porn focuses on different minority groups. See, it always comes back to this nonsense, doesn't it? Whether that's racialized porn, disability porn, gay porn, trans porn, and how porn can build narratives around these identities. So
what is disability porn?
I have no idea. Wheelchair porn? I have no idea. Is that a thing? I haven't gone onto those sites in a long
disability?
time.
Is that where she doesn't have teeth or legs?
I guess, yeah.
Oh, my God.
This is just remarkable. Under this, this umbrella of, gender identity and diversity, equity, and inclusion, because now porn can be racist as well, apparently. But this is why I bring this story up. I have no problem with this because these are 18 to 22-year-olds. Technically, they are adults, even though when you're in college, let's be real, you're still a kid. I mean, at 39, I still feel like I'm a kid most days. But 18 to 22-year-olds, so they're adults, no problem with that. And you're paying for this, right? Like, I'm not paying your tuition unless you apply for the bailout program with Joe Biden. Then of course, everybody else is going to pay for your nonsense. But my concern with this and my fear is that this is just the beginning. They're starting this in the college ranks, and it's only going to take one study and one radical left-wing pervert to say, 14 to 16-year-olds are consuming pornography like never before. We need to have this class now at the high school level or the junior high school level, to which I would adamantly object to that. You want to do this in college? Okay, you're an adult, knock yourself out. But don't make no mistake about it. This will trickle and wither its way down to the grade school and the high school and the middle school and the junior high school levels.
Kindergarten, all of a sudden we're going, Mommy, we just learned about porn today. What?
We're sitting here saying that 4-year-olds can tell you what gender they are. Is there any doubt that this could be taught to a 13-year-old?
Well, to your point, starting this week in Utah, they created a new law that you have to have proof of age, that prove that you're 18 or over to watch porn in Utah. For those adult-only websites, they have to comply. That's a new Utah law. Utah law.
Right.
I feel bad for those young kids in Utah. They're gonna have to go back to.
I'm not surprised too. Utah, big Mormon community, right?
They're gonna have to go back to the old school, Nick, like when we were growing up.
The old scrambled hot box,
scrambled porn.
Right.
Was I think I see a boob.
Mom comes in the living room. What are you watching on channel 99? What is that? Why do I see static? Nothing, Mom. It's just the Phillies.
Or find it in the woods,
Jesus.
And measures have also been introduced in Arizona and South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Arkansas passed a similar age verification law for adult websites.
Yep.
And that one, I think, already took effect. No, it takes effect this summer, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But these Pornhub-type sites are fighting it in court because, of course, to your point, they know that teenagers want to look at this stuff.
Of course.
The only thing I'll say about Temple's class is that if they look at it from the aspect of does porn and these kind of websites, do they create false expectations? Because I think they do.
I've never really did a deep dive on that, to be honest.
Because think about it, and especially then to your point of teenagers looking at that. So let's say a teenage person is looking at such website, and they are looking at the individuals in there, And first of all, everything is bare, right? They're either lasered or waxed or shaved, whatever you want to say. And then on top of it, what they're doing is nothing is realistic. But then you have people looking at it. They think, oh, that's really what should be happening.
I'm just waiting for the day when my daughters are in school and I get their curriculum and I find that this this is now a 10th grade elective that you can take in public school, because I feel more confident that this is going to happen in our schools for kids before they get out of high school than I do the Sixers winning on Sunday. Take that to you want to guarantee, you watch, in a matter of a year or two, this will pop up. And it's just, and parents are going to lose their mind, which brings us back to like school choice, right?
Yep, exactly.
Totally
and
see it coming.
That's the battleground, especially moving forward. And coming up in the big three, I'll talk about a local school and the parents, even in the way it's being reported over a bathroom policy that passed this week. And we've mentioned it, but it's now in effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you think about parents doing what even 5 years ago would have been a no-brainer.
Yep.
And now just parents and parental rights under fire and children's innocence. I mean, you're a dad of these twin little girls at this age, prepubescent. And this is, I feel bad. I feel badly for you, Nick Kayal.
I've already told them no sex until you're 30. You get married once I'm dead.
Well, that's, you have to think about dating.
Yep.
And how you're going to, like, I couldn't date until I was 16, and then the guy had to come to our house.
Did your parents vet him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I do look forward to that day when my daughters are like, sweet 16 and they have their first like legitimate boyfriend and he comes over for the first time. I'm going to be like, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in Bad Boys, where they show up to the door and that kid came to pick up Martin's daughter and they have their handguns and they're holding a bottle of booze and they're like, you on those drugs?
Get the baseball bat.
Curfew's 11 o'clock sharp.
The hunting rifle.
You have her back here at 10:59 or I'm coming to get you. Yep.
I hate to tell you guys, but I was staying over. I was sleeping over my girlfriend's house. My parents obviously didn't know when I was 15.
Where were your parents?
They thought I was staying at my friend's house.
Yeah.
Well, see, now, here we go.
The stalker sleepover.
Well, now we have these little things called, first of all, little air tags that you can sew into their coats. You have their iPhone, their earbuds.
Yeah.
There are all these little tracking devices we have.
Greg just had like an old cassette player under his bed, and he'd have like a snoring track.
I got
it, and then he went out the window.
I actually got caught. My parents, were wise to me, and in the middle of the night, they came to my girlfriend's house to get me, and I had to do this was a different walk of shame. I did the walk of shame with it.
You get in the back of that minivan right now, Greg.
Oh, it was so humiliating.
And I don't want to hear people on the ride home.
I was,
and you were 15. Greg Stocker, the ladies' man.
Well, it was a different time. Yeah.
He's got the flowing blonde hair.
The 90s were a different time.
He wasn't always a brand manager.
No, I'm just saying. So
to
think that Nick, Dawn, that they're going to be starting at 18, 19 is it's a fool's errand.
But it shouldn't be in school, like Nick is saying.
Agreed.
It shouldn't be in your high school, and depending on the college course, because that could be an interesting class. But I think they've got to bring up the expectations and all of that, because that's a piece of it.
Greg, what high school did you go to?
Pius X High School.
Okay, so it's no longer in operation, right?
It's not, no.
So Pius X.
I shut it down.
Wait, was this a Catholic school or?
It was.
Where are they now? And he sit there and do one of those "Where are they now?" of like the old people from like celebrity shows in the 80s and 90s. And these teachers come up to it and they look and they see, oh, Greg Stocker is a brand manager of one of the most well-noticed and recognizable conservative talk stations in the country. Yeah, we didn't have that one coming. Put that down on the bingo card.
I like to call it a free speech station.
That's correct.
Free speech. Oh, I like that.
There you go.
Free speech station. But I have
to
warn
inclusive,
you. I have to warn you, the Sweet 16 parties for girls nowadays, my son is invited to a classmate's. It's like at a place where my stepdaughter got married. It was like a wedding. These Sweet 16 parties post-pandemic are, oh my goodness.
So they're expensive.
Oh, yes.
That's great.
And it's a huge, big deal. And you have twin daughters.
Yeah.
So we have to look ahead to a sponsor.
Yeah. Is there any bingo halls with vacancies?
With the Joseph Ambler Inn sponsor, Nick Kayal. We got a few years to work on this.
God.
Ipso facto on YouTube, Dawn wants to know, did your dad put the gun on the table while vetting them?
His rifle was in the corner behind his lazy boy. I'm just saying.
Somebody else says it's too long of a handle to read. Greg was wearing Janko clothing while leaving his girlfriend's house. It probably was. It was 90. What would that have been? I was 15. I was probably 95, 96.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right,
so good.
7:45, right on the dot. We'll eavesdrop on the sports station a little bit later in the show. Technical difficulties at this moment, but we do not have any technical difficulties with the machine that gives you what is on the cut sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Friday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where Costco members save. Are you a Costco member? Because you can save at Cherry Hill Volvo on Route 70 in Cherry Hill, like $2,500 on the XC40 or $1,000 on other models. These can be combined with other offers. See store for details. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill Volvo, thank you for sponsoring the Friday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet. By the way, streaming live on YouTube, trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by 10 a.m. Can we do it? We're like 40 some odd away.
Come on, tell your friends.
From 3,000. We just need 40 people, 40 and change right now, to go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button, and you can tell your friends that I was the 3,000th subscriber to 1210WPHT on YouTube. Do it now.
Yes.
Mentioned earlier, and hat tip to Don Stensland for sending this my way, but we were talking about...
It was actually Larry. He's listening, so I have to give him credit.
Byron,
he sent it.
Producer Larry Menti.
Yes. We've got virtual producers as well.
right.
They're working remotely. Big staff here.
By the way, on YouTube there, Gray T Dogs says, Greg, I went to Pius X also many years before you. Wow. So I had like 30 people in my graduating class, so
yeah,
that's funny.
I remember seeing that school for the first time, and I'm like, Dad, what is St. Pius the X?
By the way, Dawn, you asked if it was a Catholic school. I didn't go there out of my own willingness.
I remember.
That's a long story that maybe we'll get into another
We have to get to that. The history.
Public school could not handle Greg Stocker.
Scared straight.
You can't handle.
Yeah, I was
the Stocker truth.
I wasn't always the glowing citizen that I am today. So Representative Byron Donalds on the panel after the CNN Trump town hall, and going scorched earth on the panel, talking about the town hall. And kudos to CNN for having him on there, right?
Yeah.
So,
first of all, town halls are for the voters, not for the press, not for the person who's the moderator. Caitlin spent more time interjecting her own viewpoints or her own views on the situation.
Excuse me, those are actually facts.
Now, are you guys not going to interject your views on me, or do I get a chance to speak now?
If you're speaking falsely, those were facts.
The town hall is for the president.
Can you imagine these guys? Quiet, white people are speaking.
I love Byron Donalds. He's really good, and he goes to town here.
Yeah.
To speak to the voters of New Hampshire, not for this back and forth with media. That's number one. Hold on, that's number one. Number two, with respect to Ukraine, I totally disagree. He did not say he was just going to give over Ukraine the way you intimate, Van. He did not say that.
He didn't say
what he said.
He did not say that he
what he said is that he would actually look for a solution to end it quickly. He put 24 hours on it, but let's be very clear. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster, because initially with Ukraine, Joe Biden wanted to give Vladimir Zelensky a ride out of Dodge. He wanted to give him a plane ride, and it wasn't until people in Moscow, in Ukraine, here in the United States said this invasion is wrong that Joe Biden reversed course.
Do you want a victory in Ukraine? Do you want a victory in Ukraine?
I'm just trying to respond to everything that's been coming up on the table. Last thing, let me say this.
Don't you love this?
I do.
That talking point is that if you don't agree with what's happening with the Russia-Ukraine thing, it's like, well, you must want Russia to win.
Yeah. Well, that was, and Collins asked that question to Trump 2 nights ago, but she said, "Do you want the Ukraine to win?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I want people to stop being killed."
Yes.
Which was a great answer.
It was.
Yeah.
It was probably the most overlooked and probably his best answer of the night.
Correct.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
We spent 22, 23 minutes talking about January 6th. We could have been talking about a whole lot of other issues instead of doing that for the first half hour or so. But let me be very clear. What was said in this town hall about National Guard troops that were authorized by Caitlin was wrong. I'm on the Oversight Committee. I was in 2 hearings on January 6th. It was testified in oversight that Donald Trump authorized National Guard troops on January 4. He followed up in a call with then acting Secretary of Defense on January 5.
By the way, CNN should give this guy 9 p.m.
Oh, I know. He's far better than anybody they have.
You know what? To your point, Greg.
Yeah.
That's what I hope. I one day I did say I hope, because I know you know Chris liked Mike.
I do.
I hope they don't steal Greg Stocker, because if Greg Stocker had been in that control room, you have better instincts than that entire control room at CNN on the other night.
Yep.
I'm telling you the truth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Byron Donalds, by the way, housing Van Jones. How great was that?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Trying to see where the deployment was on those troops. That is testimony in the Oversight Committee. Everybody testified in Oversight Committee when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, except one organization, and that was the Capitol Police.
Did you read the
because
Secretary
Nancy
of
Pelosi
Defense's
would
book?
not allow that. I'm telling you what was testified to in the Oversight Committee under oath.
Well, let me just correct you, because what Caitlin was saying was what the former Secretary of Defense wrote in his book. He said the president did not.
I am telling you what he testified to under oath. In the Oversight Committee.
Congressman, can I just
there
ask,
are the facts. Go ahead.
You do acknowledge Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, correct?
Again, we're going to continue to talk about 2020.
No, I mean, it's a direct
right
question.
now, hold on. Let me tell you why most voters are frankly kind of tired of y'all bringing this up. Inflation, border.
You don't have the courage to express your opinion.
I'm a Republican voter. I'm a Republican voter.
Voters want to talk about inflation, the border, fentanyl, the debt ceiling, foreign policy. If you want to talk about the 2020 election, let's talk about this. We do know that Mark Elias was in many jurisdictions suing to actually change election procedures, which, by the way, is at the hands of the state legislature in every state according to the Constitution. Not in the hands of courts, not in the hands of the Supreme Court, the state legislature. We do know that to be a fact. We do know that truly.
You won't state your opinion about factually what happened in the 2020
election? You guys
election?
want me to make a statement. Frank, let me tell you right now. This is what's frustrating to a lot of people. You want me to state it the way you want me to state it.
No, I don't.
I am telling you.
I want you to just answer the question.
And the reasons behind why certain people look at the election the way that they do.
I understand why some people believe it.
Moving forward into 2024, a couple of things are very, very clear. The nation is a mess. Our border is overrun. Inflation is crippling every family, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those are the facts of the matter in 2024, not 2020.
Wow.
See, they're trying to get him to say something about 2020 so that could be the headline they run with. And it's just so nonsensical because this was like a 4-on-1 handicap wrestling match. This is like The Rock going up against like 4 cronies of Vince McMahon, right? Like, it's just, here's the thing too. And this is why nobody watches CNN anymore. Yeah. And this is why the Democrats are, because they can't let go of things from 3 years ago. And you ask yourself, why, Nick? Why can't they? Because they have nothing to tout. They have no successes that they can claim today. Because the guy that they voted for and put in has been an unmitigated disaster in every statistical, measurable category.
But look at what, and you're right, but look at what, the congressman just said, as opposed to the Donald, which should have done what he just did and let the yip dogs, or the one yip with Trump, go back and forth. But keep on to your point. And that is exactly what Trump should have done, what Representative Donalds just did.
Yeah.
Look at how he shows him up. Because he lets them yip, 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 but he's keeping his sentence going. It was perfect.
And, he could also have said, my opinion of 2020 is not relevant to tonight. And it has no bearing or impact on anything from today moving forward with how we get this country going back in the right direction and on the right track. CNN just loves to drudge up the old stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing thought-provoking about them. There's nothing entertaining about them. It's just they're caught up on 2020 and January 6th. It's like we're halfway through 2023. It's like it's the same thing with COVID. They couldn't let that go either. Yeah. So.
No, you're right. And the answer also should be, and Trump could have said, I'm not looking in the rearview mirror anymore. I'm looking to 2024 and making America great again. Mm-hmm. Look to the future.
And then they tried to ask him, well, if you lose in 2024, will you concede and say it was a legit defeat? To which he said, well, yeah, if I lose a legit election, then yeah, I will.
How did the media react to CNN giving Trump a platform on the town hall? Here's a little montage put together by Fox News.
I just don't really understand why they didn't just cut him off.
What I didn't know was that the audience would be filled with his cult. I would like to know if CNN was passing out Kool-Aid before the event started.
I think it was a profoundly irresponsible decision.
There is no sense in fact-checking or replaying the highlights.
I'm sure you're going to have more fact checks for us because there were more lies than I could count.
I think we needed a chyron. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is a lie.
They're reacting and acting as if CNN gave a town hall panel for Kim Jong-un, Saddam Hussein, and Osama bin Laden. My God, he's the Republican frontrunner for the GOP primary. And they're stunned that CNN gave him that opportunity? Oh, I'm surprised, man. That's just, I mean, I know they don't value free speech, and they don't value differing opinions, and they don't value the old town square approach of, having back and forth dialogue, but This is the guy who, in all likelihood, will be challenging Joe Biden. You're going to have to hear from him, and whether you like it or not. It's the way this country works. Sorry, Joy.
Yeah, I will say that we've talked about the use of that studio audience for a town hall, and Representative Byron Donalds made that point that a town hall is for the voter. So if as we had talked about in the 6 a.m. hour, if they had given more voice to the crowd, and those in the crowd who represent the regular CNN viewer, whether they're an independent, Democrat, Republican, but to sincerely bring forth and say, Mr. President, what about this? What about that? And I think that would have been taken with more heart by even Trump.
Yep.
It would have been a stronger voice to have it from an actual voter who says, I'm worried about, whatever they're worried about. Let them say it in their own voice.
I agree.
And you didn't have the regular CNN viewer or Democrat voter. You didn't have their voice represented in that town hall, and that was a disappointment.
And also, too, from a viewing standpoint, of those 3.12 total million viewers, a lot of those weren't CNN regulars.
Exactly.
Those were, Republicans or Trump supporters or conservatives putting on that. Probably they were at the point in their house where they had the remote control. What channel is CNN, honey? It's 204. Oh, I haven't been on this channel in a long time.
I don't think it's any coincidence that the number that they had is similar to the number that the 5 and Tucker used to get.
Yep.
When people used
to
watch Fox.
It's probably that audience.
Yes.
That went to that channel for that night.
I also believe, talking about the ratings, because we did a deep dive on the ratings earlier, I also think that there's a ceiling with cable news. There's only so many people that are going to consume it. There's only so many people. If this was on 3, 6, or 10, I'm going to date myself by saying that, but if this was on one of the major networks, that I think is a better barometer of where we are or where people view this than the number that CNN got, because you're only going to get so many viewers on any sort of cable news.
Yeah, I think to your point, on a nightly basis, the ceiling is probably what Tucker Carlson used to get, just over 3 million viewers.
Yeah,
but that's why they should have incorporated, Instagram, social media, Twitter, Facebook, and I was surprised that CNN. I was surprised, seriously, by their format that they didn't try to expand and have a some different interaction, have somebody in the studio audience with the audience, and also have interaction with, say, well, here's what so-and-so said on Twitter. Here's the reaction going on. Or run it as like a ticker underneath, something to that effect. It would have made it more interesting, and it would have added different layers and dimensions.
We spoke about this earlier, how did CNN handle it? Anderson Cooper started off his program last night with this monologue basically saying, hey, look, I know why you didn't watch CNN. I don't blame you.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and called Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he's sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact-check him, it is impossible to fact-check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that. Giving him the audience, the time, I get that.
Yeah, our network sucks, and I don't blame you for wanting to boycott it.
My new boss, Chris Licht, will probably not renew my contract either, so I'm just going to say this. And I love, too, by the way, how he says, while Trump always calls black people thugs, he calls Antifa thugs as well. And what does Antifa largely consist of? Entitled white brats. So thug is not just used in the context of an African American.
Where did this come from? That if you call somebody a thug, it's a racist dog whistle.
I know, like
that's weird because you think of the mafia or the mob.
Yes.
The Italian mob or the Russian mob. You know, they're referred to as thugs, like in the movies.
I would
in
call
Hollywood.
anybody that acts unruly and tries to bully people a thug. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, don't matter to me.
Yeah, I never heard that as a racial thing. The only thing that I think was true was that the word nasty, you're a nasty woman.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that Anderson's right about. And there's already an issue with women voters with Trump. So I wish that he held almost the whole, he almost made it. It was like the Sixers. He almost made it without a comment about Caitlin.
See, I don't get caught up on the feelings of words, especially words like the word nasty. I don't think calling somebody a nasty person is inflammatory.
I agree with you, but
the E. Jean Carroll thing, I think, hurts Trump more with females than calling Caitlin Collins nasty.
Nah, he shouldn't have called her nasty. I really wish he wouldn't have.
Greg Sucker, you're nasty.
I am.
You nasty boy.
Yeah, I am.
This Janet Jackson nasty.
You were so nasty at Pius X.
Because she felt like she was doing her job, truthfully.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a nasty person, and I don't think he thinks that.
Yeah.
He was just reacting. He was aggravated that she went after the Mar-a-Lago thing as much because that's an aggravating case to him.
Right.
Because it's an ongoing case. And so she got under his skin, which he shouldn't have let that happen.
Mike Opelka, Opelka checks in on Twitter, and he tagged all of us. I'll retweet it. He posted a link to the New York Post story with the Temple teacher that's teaching the porn class, and he posted a picture of the teacher. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. If you guys want to check that out,
okay, on
the Twitters.
Mike Opelka?
Yeah. Okay. I retweeted it, at Nick Kale. Sorry to interrupt. Let's get back to more riveting stuff like Anderson Cooper.
Walton on Twitter, Dawn, says, respectfully disagree. If you watched it, she was nasty and rude. Speaking to you, Dawn.
Yeah, my point to you is that she did, in my humble opinion, she was doing her job as far as what her producers and what her network, and you can hear that with Anderson Cooper saying that she did her job according to CNN, not according to my standards or our standards or journalistic standards. That's not what I'm talking about. Would I have hosted that in that way? No, I would not have.
Right. She was really in three different roles. She was a moderator. Mm-hmm. She interjected an opinion.
Yes.
And she was, I mean, there was another element to this.
And asking the questions, keeping the program going along.
And then trying to live fact check you.
And then try to fact check
she
all
had
in real time.
She was wearing three hats at once. It was weird.
Yeah, and that was weird to me.
Charlotte on YouTube says, yes, Dawn, but when she said, well, that's why I asked you, we played that yesterday, that was a snarky comment.
It was snarky. If he had said snarky, snippy, something like that, I just wish, I'm just saying, I wish he hadn't said nasty. And you know why I'm saying that? Because that little clip will get played. Everything they were doing was they were setting a trap.
Yep.
So what I'm talking about is they were teeing this up so that they could set a trap that Trump they would try to get him to say something, and that's what that's why that critical interview from Byron Donalds is so important, because he's calling them out, saying all you're trying to do is play word games, and you're trying to get Republicans to get certain words come out of their mouth so that you can take that little clip and put it in a partisan ad for the Democrats. So all of it is a trap that they're trying to set up. So don't play by their rule. Don't play their game.
Hasn't Been Sober says he should have called her naughty, not nasty.
Naughty. Hey, you know what? To your point, naughty. When he did the body language thing, and he had, did that look, it got a laugh. It was funny, but it wasn't, it was funny. It was Reagan-esque, honestly.
Yep.
And if he had, and I said yesterday, if he had embodied the Reagan, there she goes again. Oh, Caitlin, are you getting a little testy? Caitlin, are they talking in your ear? What is your control room telling you? If he had done any of that, it would have gotten a laugh, and it would have alleviated the moment.
The more I think about this, all things considered, with all the attacks that he's been under and all the attempts to get him to do this, that, or the other thing, he very rarely, now, no doubt about it, he's aggressive, he's boisterous, he's bombastic, but he doesn't really over-the-top yell, right?
No.
Like, he doesn't get real overly super aggressive, and he could fly off the handle a lot worse than he does. Like, when you factor everything in, there's still some level of measured control in him.
Oh, look at Biden. Look at how, pissy Biden had got when he was on the campaign trail, saying really horrible things, cursing at people.
With his random shouting.
Remember, hey, fat, calling a man fat? Imagine if Trump did all those things.
Amanda on YouTube said, nasty is no big deal. He could have called her something far worse.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think nasty is such a, but the left, they just, every word.
What's interesting to me is the people defending Trump the most in the nasty comment are the women, because I think they know women, and they're like, oh, no, she was being nasty.
And look, and while we're on it too, I'm sure there are plenty of women that are Trump voters, Trump supporters, that like his policies, that might think he's a bit of a pervert or a creep behind the scenes or whatever. Again, you don't have to love every single thing about every single politician.
I don't think they do think he's a pervert.
No?
No. Nope. I think people know exactly. With Donald Trump, they know exactly. I mean, look at what he said in the Access Hollywood tape when he was talking about Nancy O'Dell. And I know Nancy, he took Nancy O'Dell furniture shopping. He took her to lunch and furniture shopping. Totally respectful, didn't grab her, didn't say anything inappropriate, was a total gentleman.
I just always hear people on the left sometimes that sit there and say, I don't know how any female could support that guy. And I'm just like...
Yeah, because it's the narrative. When I'm saying it, I wish he didn't say the word nasty. I'm only saying it from you understand, I'm only saying it from a media perspective.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
That I just don't want the soundbite.
Right.
But does it bother me that he said, no. That's not my point.
I got you.
A little bit more from Anderson, because, yes, we are in the middle of Anderson Cooper.
Who knew?
Yeah.
But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
So
listen to him.
Yeah. At the end of that,
What a self-righteous tool.
I do agree with him, because what he's trying to say is that we needed to do this. We needed to have this town hall.
Right.
He just did it in a, I know you're teed off of this network, so you have every right to be.
I think what he's saying is you can't stay in your little echo chamber of politics, right? Like you got to step out and hear the other person, hear the other side, hear the other point of view, whether you like it or not, or disagree with it or not. But like he's sitting there talking about like this would be the end of the world if Trump runs and gets reelected in 2024. They just don't. And the worst part of it all is they omit all the accomplishments. From, the low inflation, low unemployment.
You mean the facts?
Yes, exactly. They omit all the things that actually matter to the everyday American, and all they run with is like the tabloid headlines. And I think CNN, in a way, they kind of wanted to be almost like a Trump tabloid, and Americans didn't want to hear it 24/7.
But it's the whole narrative of, and I'll take us back to Biden, who, by the way, is going to be back in Philadelphia Monday, the day before our primary election here. But I'll take you back to that horrible news conference with the red lighting and those evil MAGA. That's the whole narrative they have. Anderson Cooper is not giving facts here. He's saying, I know this is disturbing because of those deplorable MAGA. They may be your in-laws.
Yeah.
They're evil. Fear them. Disturbing, disgusting. It's all based on emotion and fear, and never talking about when you turn on, even if you turn on a Fox News, what are they talking about? The security of the border, the security of the nation, the fentanyl drug crisis, a deadly crisis, the economy, inflation, debt ceiling, factually based things that that actually impact our everyday life, our very security. And our ability to survive as a nation going forward, financially and otherwise.
So if Anderson Cooper doesn't offer facts, then it's official. The ruling is in. He doesn't offer anything.
Peter on YouTube, Nick wants to know what an echo chamber is.
What did I say?
You said echo chamber.
What did I mean to say?
Echo chamber.
Echo. Yeah. Oh, all right. Hold on. Let me grab the jar. I was a little hot and bothered.
Chad on Twitter brings up a very good point on. Nasty woman is a rally cry. It's true. It's true. I'm a nasty woman. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Remember that whole thing?
That's right.
Yeah. Chad with a very, very strong tweet at 8:11 in the morning.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
Could be the winner.
Hanging Chad.
Yeah, hanging Chad.
Hanging Chad.
I want to get both of your opinions on this. Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, is he doing more media?
He was on. I think this interview was with Fox News. It doesn't matter who the interview was with. But what he's proposing here is a constitutional amendment to raise the voting age to 25 or require military service. I want to get both of your opinions on this. Let's first go to the tape and then discuss.
Mm-hmm.
We want to restore civic duty to in the mindset of the next generation of Americans. And how we want to do it is to say that if you want to vote as an 18-year-old between the ages of 18 and 25, you need to either do your civic duty through service to the country, that's 6 months of service in either military service or in a first responder, including police, fire, or otherwise, or else you have to pass the same civics test that an immigrant has to pass in order to become a naturalized citizen who can vote in this country. At age 25, that falls away. So in a nutshell, what we're proposing is a constitutional amendment to raise the voting age to 25.
Amen.
I don't dislike the general theory and the thought behind it, but basically you are creating military mandates. No, that's short of a draft.
No, civic duty does not mean military. You can go out and,
like you said, police, fire,
be a park
ambulance.
ranger.
Yeah.
Volunteerism.
Yeah.
I do like the idea. I do like the idea of it's like Israel does. They do it. You have to serve. Everybody serves in the military in some respect. If you know anybody who's from Israel, and I know women who've done this, and they actually teach you about physical fitness and discipline. It's a pretty cool thing that they do.
They do it in South Korea as well for men.
Do they?
You have to serve 2 years. Yep.
But in Israel, it's men and women, teenagers, and it's actually a pretty cool thing. Not necessarily, I don't think for America necessarily military, but I like the idea of requiring civic service because it gives people that outlet, and they actually talk about discipline, nutrition, health, fitness.
I agree with. I actually think that the what he said there at the end, where when you turn 18, you should have to pass the same citizenship test. Basic civics.
I love that.
I don't hate that.
Because the problem is that so many 18-year-olds have no idea.
Well,
no skin in the game.
You're creating new rules because you're losing in a demographic that the Democrats are beating you in.
Yes.
You don't want 18 to 25-year-olds to be able to vote because a lot of them will vote Democrat, and the reason why they are doing it, and this comes back to the Biden Gen Z influencers that we talked about on TikTok last week, where I said this sounds like a desperate ploy by Joe Biden to have those guys posting those videos at 16 and 18 years old. I'm riding with Biden, and they're like reading those copy points. Well, how about we just do something that the Democrats do well? Let's get to the younger generation. What the GOP should be doing is saying, you know what? We need to find a way to appeal to the younger demo.
They're not going to, though, Nick. That's the problem. And this has nothing to do with stacking the deck one side or the other. This has to do with if you're going to, express your right to vote and vote, you need to at least know the facts and what's happened. And the problem is that most people don't really have skin in the game till at least 25. I could even argue that they don't have skin in the game until their 30s.
Right. But I got you there because I told you, it's a numbers game. The reason why that Biden could very well get reelected is because there's more Democrats than Republicans, and people vote emotionally and they vote stupid.
And I can hear Dawn in my ear saying, "Well, military service starts at 18, so if we have the right to send them to war, they should have the right to vote." I get that, but we haven't sent people to war at 18, involuntarily in a long time.
Well, I've said for years, as you well know, change that age to 21.
Yeah.
As far as military, and then remember, the line was nobody's going to sign up at 21. I will remind you that the Biden administration, within the past 6 months, had announced that they're revamping the naturalization process and that citizenship test. And so they've been revamping it. So I'll be curious. I don't think they're done yet, but it's a trial. They've been trialing different how they're revamping it.
Yep.
But it's a verbal test. So.
Michael V. Wolf says, Stocker, why do you think the GOP aren't willing to at least try to appeal to the 18 to 25-year-old demographic? There's no sense, for as long as time, 18 to 25-year-olds vote with emotions. They don't vote with their head. But it's just the stage you're at because you don't know enough.
But here's the thing, too, and here's a selling point, or at least in theory, this should be something that's practical. The GOP right now, not only does the Republican Party have the deeper bench, we're younger than the Democrats. Think about it, from Vivek Ramaswamy to Nikki Haley to Tim Scott to Ron DeSantis. And then you look at the Democrats. Biden's 81, Fetterman's a vegetable, and Feinstein's 89 years old. I mean, the Democrats have a thin bench, and they're all archaic.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about the normal voting population, and I don't think that you're ever going to win over 18 to 25-year-olds. There's not much that you can do that's going to get them to vote for you. I just think that I have no problem with 18-year-olds voting, but I do think that there needs to be some sort of a civics test.
Yeah, we should teach it in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just hit them over the head with the basic numbers in this country from a an economy standpoint.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 18 to 25. You have no disposable income, right? Like, you're literally eating Funyuns and drinking Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Look at President Trump and where the economy was and what the cost of everything was under him, and look at it with Joe Biden. So I ask you now, poor TikTok influencer, you still riding with Biden? Just make it simple for them so they understand. I mean, almost speak down to them like you're talking to your kid, and maybe the light bulb will go off.
Speaking of TikTok influencers, Dylan Mulvaney
spoke
for the first time since her
their
backlash from the Bud Light partnership, and they on some sort of podcast. I'm not sure what it was. Doesn't really matter. Talking about how it affected Dylan Mulvaney.
Okay.
I'm being very careful with the words I'm using.
Yeah. Poor DM.
DM, there we go.
My page for a second was like a pretty safe space. And then it sort of recently has become this like culture war in the comments.
How have you dealt with that?
I've been wondering a lot this past week of like...
Can I just say one thing?
It's your segment, bro.
It's not my segment. This is meant to tee you guys up to say things.
Want. You have the pause button.
Who is listening to these podcasts? There is nothing infuriates me more than all of these people with these podcasts that they think that they can do what we do. It's just infuriating.
I know. Trust me. And then but see, here's the thing. This is where you lose the Utes because they believe podcasts are the wave of the future, right? Trust me. All these people that are doing podcasts, and look, some of them do monetize it, but a very select few. Most people that are doing podcasts is because they're not good enough to do 20 hours a week.
Thank you.
Or in Dawn's case, 30 hours a week.
There's so much time and effort and practice and years of eating you-know-what in this business to get to where we are now, to be on a major morning show in a major market, the 5th largest market in the country. And you have these people be like, how did it make you feel?
Well, but you know what? In their defense, they have the technology available to them now where they can create this podcast, prove themselves, get their reps in, and get their opportunity if they create content that's compelling in some form or fashion. We didn't have that when we were starting a radio. We used to go into studios when it was like after hours and cut demos.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, of course. All right, back to the clip.
DM.
What the psychological effects are and will be of being called a man thousands and thousands of times a day. I'm really trying to get better about not seeing
reading
that stuff because it's hard because
So this whole idea is that DM is so triggered and so affected because comments on social media.
Yeah. Well, then stay off of it. Nobody's forcing you to be on it.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm only on it because of my job. If I wasn't doing this for a living, I wouldn't spend hours upon hours a day on the site. Nobody's and it's TikTok used to be my safe space. Now it's an unsafe space. It's called America. And I'm not defending any of the vitriol or the hate that comes his way.
Yep.
You do you, live your life, but you're never going to appease everybody. So if you have thin skin, social media is probably the last place you want to be.
And by the way, if you're in the public eye, like all of us are, people are going to say mean things to you.
Yes.
It just happens. You have to either not look at it or not let it affect you. And if it does affect you, then get in a different business.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Or spar back with them.
Yes.
I've given up on that. I mean,
somebody called me meatloaf earlier.
Yeah. I ignore 99 of 100 negative interactions I get in my mentions on Twitter, and 1 out of 100 I'll jab back or hit with the counterpoint. But to large part, it's largely useless. You don't really gain anything from it. But if it bothers you, just leave.
The problem with this generation is that their whole identity is online.
Right.
That's their whole identity.
Their whole existence rests on retweets and likes, follows.
Yes.
And
if they get retweets, if they get likes, if people comment positively on whatever they post, they feel like that's their self-worth. Or that people that they've never met trash them, then it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Just get offline.
Yeah. Well, they've done scientific studies about the addiction of social media and how the endorphins in the brain and how you post something and your brain automatically tells you it's time to go back and look for the validation you were seeking. Did I get reposts? Did I get likes and favorites and this, that, and the other thing? By the way, speaking of mentions, TCM Experience on Twitter says, watch some porn in the morning, get carjacked after lunch. Day in the life of an owl. That's Temple in a nutshell.
Temple Owl. Go Owls.
A little bit more from DM.
Yeah.
I want to be accessible to the right people, but then in other ways, like, then if one person ruins it for us all, I can't check the DMs.
Right.
Or I have to limit the comments. And I fear what has happened is that I have not actually gotten to process anything that's happened this year, what this has been. And so I'm hoping that, I've got a really great therapist, life coach, like we're putting in the work.
I was just going to say that
they're mentally ill.
Dylan definitely has psychological treatment because Dylan mentioned the word, I haven't had a chance to process. That is a buzzword that the psychiatrists and psychologists use. I need to take time to process. I don't know. I can process on the fly. So I don't know. I don't need therapy. But if you do, there's numbers out there for it. Go get it.
By the way, I guess just playing DM lost Joseph Gruss on YouTube.
Oh, you did? Really?
And he's like, you're losing me. I'm done.
So, but Dylan did go on to say that Dylan is losing sleep over this.
Yes.
That's why you go down the vitamin aisle. They got melatonin.
Look, I get it. You're in, there's probably people not saying nice things about you, but that goes with the territory, with this job. If you're in the public, sphere, people are going to comment on you. It's how life is.
I think Dylan could go for a Bud Light or two right now. And take a little load off. Sit back, put your feet up, have a bud.
A migrant, let's go to Title 42, shall we? A migrant tells CNN that he was aware of Title 42, and that's why he came now, not earlier. So a little bit of this is in, I assume, Spanish, but they translate it.
Una pregunta. Usted estaba enterado del Título 42 y que iban a abrir la frontera. Were you aware of Title 42?
Sí.
Sí, por eso viniste. That's why you came here.
Sí. Y queríamos pasar antes del 11 porque recuerda que no iban a jamás pasar más gente.
He said he wanted to get here. He wanted to make sure to get here before the cutoff of or before Title 42 ended. But he was well aware. Gracias por platicar con nosotros. Thank you. Y suerte con tu viaje. Good luck with your journey here.
Good luck.
So basically, every other country around the planet has TV and internet, and you can find out that Title 42 is expiring. I thought only Americans were aware of that. These people aren't stupid.
Secretary Mayorkas says that we've been prepared for this moment for almost 2 years, and their plan will deliver results. He took to the podium yesterday, so this is cut 7, boys.
Tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, the pandemic-era Title 42 public health order will end.
That was last night, by the way.
Starting at midnight, people who arrive at our southern border will be subject to our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code. Here is what that means. If anyone arrives at our southern border after midnight tonight, they will be presumed ineligible for asylum and subject to steeper consequences for unlawful entry, including a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry and potential criminal prosecution. The transition to Title 8 processing will be swift and immediate. We have surged 24,000 Border Patrol agents and officers, thousands of troops, contractors, and over 1,000 asylum officers and judges to see this through. We are clear-eyed about the challenges we are likely to face in the days and weeks ahead, and we are ready to meet them. We expected to see large numbers of encounters initially. We are already seeing high numbers of encounters in certain sectors. This places an incredible strain on our personnel, our facilities, and our communities with whom we partner closely. We prepared for this moment for almost 2 years, and our plan will deliver results.
Maybe.
It will take time for those results to be fully realized, and it is essential that we all take this into account.
Hey, Alejandro. Joe's running out of time, literally and figuratively, on his life and his presidency. But you know what's interesting to me is he talks about resources. I don't want to hear that this country doesn't have the resources, because we have enough resources to keep funding a proxy war with Russia and the Ukraine. Billions upon billions of dollars. But we can't figure out our own border. And by the way, keep in mind, Alejandro Mayorkas is the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's not just the southern border. That's protecting this nation from a security standpoint from everybody, foreign, domestic, intruders, somebody hijacking an airplane, flying it into a building. This is the guy that is protecting your nation. Keep that in mind.
He wants to be very clear. Our borders are not open. Well, what about that migrant that CNN just interviewed? How did he get here if the borders are not open?
He cut a hole in the fence like in the Philadelphia prison. He just crawled through.
I want to be very clear. Our borders are not open. People who cross our border unlawfully and without a legal basis to remain will be promptly processed and removed. An individual who is removed under Title VIII is subject to at least a 5-year ban on reentry into the United States and can face criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again. Smugglers have been long, hard at work spreading false information that the border will be open. They are lying. To people who are thinking of making the journey to our southern border, know this. Smugglers care only about profits, not people.
You think?
Do not risk your life and your life savings only to be removed from the United States if and when you arrive here.
Because we won't remove you.
Yeah. Don't risk your life savings, as if these people have millions of dollars that they're risking. They're basically coming with all their belongings on one shoulder. I think they're going to roll the dice and say, you know what, continue living in this hellhole, or roll the dice and see if the United States really follows through with their warning. I think I'll take my shot.
By the way, just to reset, since it is 8:30, and we were accused yesterday from 8:30 to 9:15 of not covering the Trump town hall. We are streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button, and if you're watching right now, hit the like button as well. We're about 30 some odd away from 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So if you're listening right now, just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. Can you be the 3,000th subscriber? Alejandro Mayorkas, Nick Kale.
Yeah, speaking of him, by the way, Lebo checks in on Twitter. He says, crap. Listening to Mayorkas made men throw my phone across the room. He's probably listening at work.
Alejandro Mayorkas did take questions yesterday. His answers weren't very good, but at least he took questions.
Yeah.
How much money are these open borders costing the American taxpayers? Good question, right?
Yeah.
The answer.
What's the rough cost to American taxpayers since the roughly 4 million people have come into this country illegally since January of 2021, as those people show up at community hospitals, as they enter the school system, as they get other government help? Do you have a taxpayer cost?
Let me turn that question around a little bit, because I'm going to turn it around to match the question that an international partner asked of me. And the question that the international partner asked of me is, what is the economic cost of your broken immigration system? Since there are businesses around this country that are desperate for workers, there are desperate workers looking for jobs, desperate workers in foreign countries that are looking for jobs in the United States where they can earn money lawfully and send much needed remittances back home. What is the cost of a broken immigration system? That is the question that I am asked, and that is the question that I pose to Congress, because it is extraordinary.
But do you have a cost that the taxpayers are paying now?
I believe I have addressed your question.
I haven't answered it, but I have addressed it.
I've pivoted hard the other way and turned it right back on you. I'm not going to answer your question, though.
By the way, I'm just looking at that picture that stunt brain Michael Pelka tweeted out of the porn teacher
at
Temple. Wow. It makes me rethink going back to college.
She looks like somebody that would be in the Biden administration.
Learning about porn, yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently...
All right, so here we go. Poll question.
Okay.
Temple University porn class professor or AOC?
Stop.
Dawn, please just cover your ears.
I'm working on breaking news over here.
Oh,
boy.
boy.
You got to go to the big three.
Yes, we
breaking
do.
news. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We've got some phone calls to take, too.
Hang on there. Just let me
Everybody
do one more.
hang on.
Let me just do one more of my Orcus cut, and then we'll do the big three, and then we'll get to the phone calls. We have a lot of time.
Yeah,
It's
as
90 minutes.
As Greg Stocker would say.
We're in the middle of a segment. Alejandro Mayorkas on a bus of migrants arriving in front of the vice president's house, which I always find hysterical. This is cut 10 here, boys.
A bus of migrants from Texas arrived in front of the vice president's office this morning, vice president's house this morning. What's your response to that, to more buses of migrants being sent from Texas to Washington, D.C.?
It is a both sad and tragic day when a government official uses migrants as a pawn for political purposes.
Yeah, it's also a sad political day when this administration, for a political purpose, leaves the border wide open for potentially your child to die of a fentanyl overdose. But let's not talk about political stunts. Here's what you should do.
Yeah.
Get a bus, get some migrants on it, ship them up to Philadelphia, and drop them off right at Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow night for the Taylor Swift concert.
It's tonight, isn't it?
Or tonight.
Tonight, okay.
Tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Three
nights.
Yeah.
3 nights.
Yeah, we can do a bus per night.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We obviously have breaking news, and Dawn is dying to get to it.
All right. So 8:34, that'll do it for the cut sheet. Part due 1 hour from now. And Dawn Stenslin is ready to go with the Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal Company.
Sponsored by Catholic Philly, this 85-degree sunny day. Daniel Penny just turning himself in this morning, facing criminal charges in connection with that chokehold death of Jordan Neely, who was suspected in 40-plus attacks, some of them violent. This was a tragic situation that happened aboard a New York City train. The Manhattan DA, of course, confirming that Penny is facing manslaughter charges, could face up to 15 years behind bars. So this is a Marine who served our nation between 2017 and 2021 and rose to the rank of sergeant and was award-winning. Many awards, 5 medals, including the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, the Humanitarian Service Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Right now, it's quite a chaotic scene outside the DA's office there in Manhattan, as there are protesters demanding that this Marine sergeant who served honorably, should be locked up and persecuted.
Of course. Yeah. They're basically trying to intimidate the system into making sure that this guy's found guilty.
It's a sin.
It is.
A passionate potty ruling in the suburbs that I want to bring to your attention. In Bucks County, the school board meeting there went for hours, was so heated that at one point they had to call a recess just to cool everybody off. They were trying to pass a budget, and also the Penridge school board members did pass a new bathroom policy 7-1, which mandates students use the bathroom of their biological gender. So if you see the way it's being reported in the local news, what they're talking about is, legal advocates say it's discrimination against trans students. But parents there at the meeting were pretty adamant, as well as the school board there in Penridge, saying no, for everybody's safety and according to the law, boys will use the boys' biologically born boys use the boys' bathroom, biologically born girls use the girls' bathroom or the female bathroom, and that would align with the locker room as well.
So common sense, boys will be boys and girls will be girls.
Yes.
And that's probably offensive.
That's very highly offensive. Yeah. The ACLU is being interviewed and speaking out. Yeah, this is going to be a hot,
Culture wars continue.
Yep.
All right.
And we also have, and I know that I was off on Monday, but you had talked about that crazy meteorite situation in Jersey. So scientists at the College of New Jersey have now confirmed that indeed it was an out of this world meteorite that crashed through the home of a New Jersey family.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's Hopewell Township, Mercer County, New Jersey, and it was about the size of a grapefruit. And when I first heard the story, I thought, oh, could it be a chunk of, the ice, the chunk of poop from an airplane?
Yeah.
We hear about it.
Yeah.
But it actually was a meteorite.
Wow.
And so here's the thing. I guess that the family turned it over to authorities. I would not have turned it over because, do you know, some of these meteorites are worth millions of dollars.
Well, apparently it got rerouted. It was intended to go to Phil Murphy's house.
But it's pretty cool. It's like I say, the rock the size of a grapefruit, and it bounced off. It hit the ceiling, and then landed on their hardwood floor. And it could be very valuable. It's pretty cool, but they think that it actually is from maybe a belt of asteroids between Jupiter and Mars.
Wow, that's awesome.
I was thinking between Neptune and Uranus, but okay.
Stop. It's like this blackish hunk.
Imagine how fast that has to be coming down at.
Is that the middle part, the skin?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Thank God nobody was home, though.
Right.
Could have, killed somebody.
Did it obliterate the house?
I mean, it caused some damage.
Okay.
Hope they've got good homeowners, I guess.
Yeah.
We have meteorites falling through the house now.
Because I remember reading, and I think this is factually correct. This could have been like a total spoof back in the day. But there was a study that was done that if you dropped a penny off the top of the Empire State Building,
I've heard that.
and it came all the way down to the ground and hit you on the head, it would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just asking about the meteor and the speed and the crash.
I think it would have definitely hurt.
Yeah.
If it's coming down fast enough to crash through somebody's roof and through the ceiling.
Yeah.
I think that could have, I'm sure it would have scared the heck out of somebody.
Right.
But I don't know if they're going to give it back to the people.
Peter on YouTube says, do you have coverage for meteors? That's a great question. Is that an act of God for homeowners insurance?
I mean,
what's the deductible?
Yeah,
for
what
that?
is it?
Anyway.
But I think those things, sometimes they're worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I hope they get it back.
That's a good return, though. You maybe get like $40,000 in damage to your house, but then it's worth $1 million and you sell that sucker?
That'd be pretty cool.
I'd take it.
Like, manna from heaven.
Yeah.
We are, speaking of heaven, we are sponsored by Catholic Philly. Stay up to date with the latest Catholic news by signing up for Catholic Philly's weekly newsletter containing local, national, world Catholic news, inspiring feature stories, and much more. Each week, direct to your email inbox. Just visit CatholicPhilly.com so you can learn more. This is Kayal Company Big 3.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. Let's get these phone calls in. We've got Frank in the Northeast who's been on hold since Thursday. Frank, you go right ahead, sir.
Hey, Nick. A question for you, Nick, and a comment for Dawn. I'll ask you first, Nick. It's your show. Last Saturday, how'd you make out with the World War II veteran with the tree?
It was excellent. Actually, we did not get the original intended veteran of Stan Friday. Something came up with his family, so he was unable to make it. So I met Alan Shapiro, who was 99 years old, has a handshake that will break your hand, and drives a brand new Porsche.
Nice.
Well, you did a good job, so I'm glad you went.
Well, thank you, Frank.
And Dawn, you ready?
I'm ready.
First of all, happy Mother's Day. I know you got David and Michael. You're a great mom. You made a comment about Trump, that reporter saying nasty. Well, I was thinking she was rude and ignorant, but that's what makes Donald J. different. He talks like what we're all thinking. There's just different words. That's what I think about that.
Yeah.
And that's what we've talked about. You have me. And as far as I agree with you that he's authentic, he's not a slick-talking politician, and that's what we like about him, as well as, the peace and prosperity thing, best economy ever in our history.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm referring to with DJT is don't fall into their trap. And so that's really, it's more about, and I think Representative, Byron Donalds said it best. You're trying to put words in my mouth. You're asking certain questions, then constantly interrupting. And I do think they're all a bunch of yip dogs. And they just yip, 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 yip until you kind of fall into the trap and say the soundbite that they're looking for.
Yep. And by the way, I think Byron Donalds is a star.
Yeah.
Star in the making.
Now they're saying VP, could he be VP material?
I mean, he's not as experienced as Tim Scott, but you know what? It wouldn't surprise me down the road if this guy is a presidential candidate in 12, 14, 16 years, something like that. Because he's still relatively young. Was he 32, I think?
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost like Caitlin Collins' age, so he's very young in the game.
Collins and Byron Donalds on CNN primetime.
How about that for a show? Kurt in Marlton, New Jersey. Kurt, you go right ahead.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
We're doing well, Kurt.
All right. So earlier you played a cut off the cut sheet where the gentleman was talking about serving and having a forced service.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Right. You had said that, it was more of a response or a response to the Democrat Party, which after, being on hold for so long, I've been thinking about it. It may be a response to that, but I think it's more of a response to patriotism than it is the Democrat Party. Our kids have been indoctrinated for 40-plus years on how to hate this country, and having them do some sort of forced service, whether that's taking a kid from Nebraska and painting lines on the street in New York City, or taking a kid from New York City to go pick corn out in Nebraska, you're at least having them now experience some other form of the country so that they can now develop some sort of patriotism for this country and stop hating this country.
Yeah, and I'm not against, learning other things and, understanding what makes America great. I'm just against mandates in general. So whether that's a COVID mandate, I just don't like being forced or told what needs to be done, which is why I would be against. Now, the civic test is interesting. I'm on board with that. I'm cool with that. But again, to me, I think it's more about the root cause. It's like, where are Republicans swinging and missing, striking out at with the younger demographic? These younger kids today, as much as they're a pain in the butt, and I say that as almost a 40-year-old, so it's not like I'm too far removed from being one of those younger pain in the butts. But you've got to find a way to get the light bulb to go off with them. Because in this day and age, it's a different breed. Gen Z is a totally different dynamic. And for what it's worth, and it ticks me off to say it, the Democrats have figured out how to get to that. Because it's all about the future, the next wave, right? And if you don't adapt with the times, if you don't evolve, you perish. That's evolution. Adapt or perish. And a Republican hasn't won the popular vote in this country. Not that means anything, but they haven't won the popular vote in almost 20 years. So, we know the numbers game is against us. The media is stacked against us. So you've got to, and I'm not opposed to any idea. So I give Vivek Ramaswamy for having some thoughts. But as far as the mandating people to do things, it just doesn't jive with me. And I don't know that it really jives with many people in this audience, right? Because we don't like being forced to do something that you don't want to do.
Why not make it require a high school graduation requirement?
That's a great idea.
I mean, most private schools in this area, I can tell you, high schools require public service.
Yeah.
Require. So my kids have grown up with that.
Senior project.
Well, not even that. The private schools do it since you're in grade school. It's a requirement that every year you do it. But at the very least, do it as a high school situation where you have had to have volunteered so many hours. Mm-hmm. But also I think the citizenship test is a great idea.
Yeah, I like that. But I'll tell you what, senior project for the month of May, your senior year, because let's face it, by the time you've gotten to May in your senior year of high school, you've checked out. You're not doing homework anymore. Unless you're on the border of graduating or not graduating, you're focused on prom. So let's just send them out and pick corn in Nebraska and everything else that our last caller just said. I'd be totally on board with that.
I don't like it for the end of your senior year. I actually think it should be something that's consistent throughout your school years, but especially
May of every year.
Well, throughout
like a day of service.
Like my kids have done, we do the one thing here, but truthfully, we've done, especially in high school, they are required every year to provide so much volunteerism throughout the year, whether it's painting homes, feeding the homeless, whether it's donating your time, Travis Manuel. You can choose what you're doing, planting gardens, community gardens, etc. But I think the point here is to give them a grasp of reality. And as well, and I would refer, if nobody's seen the documentary done by Alexandria Pelosi, who's Nancy Pelosi's daughter, by the way, who married somebody who is he Danish? She did a whole documentary on people who come to this country and do the citizenship test, what they go through.
Mm-hmm.
It's joyful. And it's really an adorable positive energy documentary, which goes across and tracks people coming to this country and how they say, oh my goodness, you call 911 and somebody comes quickly.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're so joyful and thankful for what America means to them. And yes, they have to take that citizenship test. I do think the citizenship test should be required for a high school graduation or GED.
I just had two thoughts that popped into my head there with what you said. You said Danish. I'm hungry now. I could go for a raspberry Danish. Yeah. And then you said Alexandria Pelosi. That's
her daughter.
That's a nightmare. Think about that. That's part Nancy, part AOC.
No, stop.
That's like the Democrat from hell. Unbelievable. All right, 855-839-1210. We will come back, wrap up the 8 o'clock hour after this, and this word from Piazza Auto Group. Currently in a brand new 2023 Land Rover Defender, courtesy of my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. And you should see the Land Rover Defender 90 that I have right now. Eye-popping Fuji white model, black rims, and this Land Rover Defender has a reputation for being rugged with go-anywhere utility, making them amongst the world's most capable off-road vehicles on the market today. They say it's iconic. I've been in it for 15 days. I understand why. If you're in the market for a luxurious SUV, I encourage you to go test drive the Defender for yourself and see what all the hype is about. Two-door Defender 90, that's the vehicle I'm in. If you want the four-door Defender 110, a little bit bigger, but if you need 8 passengers, you got a big family, Defender 130 is for you. And the Defender 130 is perfect for the all-terrain family expeditions. Take a trip to the southern border in it right now. Up to 8 people on board in superior comfort. The Defender 90 and 110, they come in a three different engine choices. A 2-liter 4-cylinder, a 3-liter 6-cylinder, or the 5-liter V8. Visit Land Rover of Westchester, Willow Grove, or Wilmington, or shop online at PiazzaPremiumAutos.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you tired of paying too much? Rescue Natural Supplements are rolling back prices to 2013 on top of Memorial savings all month long. That's right. For the entire month of May, you can buy 2 products, get 1 free, or buy 3 products and get 2 free on every single Rescue supplement. Combine decade-old rolled back prices with free bottles for huge savings. Stock up on all your favorites. 1250 Omegas, cholesterol supporters, probiotic, and brand new health gummies are all on sale. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online, res-q.com, res-q.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big. Rescue is over 50 products to target your health goals, and everything is on sale. Rolled back prices and memorial deals start now and last through the end of the month. So go shop res-q.com today. That's res-q.com. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
I never really thought much about buckling up. That is, until I lost my best friend who wasn't wearing her seatbelt. Each year, hundreds of people who die in Pennsylvania traffic crashes aren't buckled up. It's the law, but more importantly, it could save your life. Buckle up. Everybody, every time. That click could save your life. Click it or ticket.
Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Camden County welcomes the Dadville Regatta to the Cooper River this weekend. Taylor Swift kicks off her 3-day stint at the Link tonight with Phoebe Bridgers among the openers. Officials say one of the 2 prisoners who escaped from the Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center was captured Thursday night.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Parks Casino. Joe Conklin hosts national comedians every other Thursday. It's Joe Conklin's Comedy Night at Parks. Show dates and tickets. Go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
At Agora Cyber Charter School, all students can thrive in the classroom. Agora staff rallies around each student, giving them a sense of belonging through their own unique experience from the safety and comfort of their home. Live instruction is taught in real time by PA-certified teachers. Students have no barriers to reaching their highest potential, to being challenged, to being curious, to being connected. Agora serves Pennsylvania students grades K through 12. Enroll today for the 2023 to 2024 school year. Learn more and attend a live virtual open house at agora.org.
Voting is your most important right. It gives you the power to decide our city's future. But you have to be in the know to vote. That's why AARP Philadelphia has collected all the most up-to-date voting information. Check out aarp.org/PHLMayor to get all the key dates and deadlines for the May 16th primary election, including how to register, apply for a mail-in or absentee ballot, find your polling place, and so much more. That's aarp.org/PHLMayor.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I often tell you about my buddy Roy with 2 big stores of batteries plus bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield. Here's a review from Matt. This is word by word. Here's what he said. It's a great place to grab any batteries or phone repairs. I work with a fleet of vehicles. This place has had batteries from cars to pickups to heavy-duty tractor batteries. The owner's a nice guy. He's not afraid to come out and give great advice. And if they don't have your battery, typically the next day they can get it. Customer service is the key when you visit them. They power it, they light it, they fix it. Mount Laurel and Northfield, batteries plus bulbs.
The Mega Memorial Day sales event is going on now at Hessert Chevrolet with monumental savings. At Hessert, our incredible selection and our incredibly low prices keep customers coming back. During this Memorial Day sales event, drive a 2023 Chevrolet Equinox LS for just $325 a month. But hurry, the Memorial Day deals won't last long, so stop in today. Online at HessertChevy.com. $2,500 down, 10,000 miles per year, 10 cents every mile over 39 months. MSRP $28,780. Stock number 23C0342. Must qualify for Tier 1 leasing through GM Financial. Taxes, tags, and other fees not included. Must have a current GM lease in the household. See dealer for complete details.
Taylor Swift is in Philly for 3 sold-out shows at the Link. And to celebrate, 96.5 TDY is now 90 Swift 5 TAY. All Taylor's hits, all the time. Tell the Swifties in your life.
We're going to get it done on Sunday. I can feel this. I can feel it. Sixers plus 7.5. We don't know the time yet. It's going to depend on the outcome of the Lakers and Golden State Warriors, whether they... It's either going to be a 3:30 or an 8 o'clock game, which, by the way, is a huge time change there. NBA playoffs are here, and you can get in on all the action right from the first tip. With FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend when you bet the NBA playoffs. Just place a 3-plus leg same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus on any NBA playoff game, and you get bonus bets back if you don't win. There's no better place to bet on all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Greg and get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend of the NBA playoffs. That's FanDuel.com/Greg, G-R-E-G. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, present in PA. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Okay, we'll do it live. Yeah, buddy. Kayal Company, 8:57. Great to have all of you guys and gals in. Swifty, baby. Taylor Swift, Philly, today, tomorrow, Sunday. So let's think about that for a second as we wrap up the third hour of the show here, which, by the way, is brought to you by Creative Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. Are you considering installing a new cooling system in your home? Well, if so, this is the option for you. No ductwork, no problem. Call Creative Comfort Solutions, the area's leading HVAC specialists in installing ductwork in older homes. Visit creativehvac.com for a free, no-obligation estimate today. So, Lincoln Financial Field, I believe, just over 65,000, maybe 67,000 seats.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 3. We're looking at close to, 200,000 people for 3 days?
Yep.
That's kind of a newsworthy story, right?
You would think so.
Berks County girl comes home, 3 big shows.
Look, if you really look at who can sell out these big, it's the big acts. It's, Springsteen can do 3 nights here. Billy Joel, Ellen, people like that. To put Taylor Swift on there that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's a big get.
Even if we don't get it.
That's correct.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
We're at 2.98. We're less than 20 away from 3,000.
Make a big push right here.
All right, come on. At 8:59 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's almost 9 o'clock. Maybe you're at work. Can you be the 3,000th YouTube subscriber? YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. We're closing in on 3,000. I would love to get to 3,000 before the end of the program at 10 o'clock. Going into the weekend with 3,000 subscribers would just make my weekend.
And if you've already created an account, create a second one.
No.
Make a burner. Make a YouTube burner.
We want this. This isn't like a Philly election. We need this. We need this fair and balanced, okay?
All right, 855-839-1210. I've got some Tucker Carlson stories to get to coming up in a little bit. Also, Tom Hanks, Joe Rogan, both fighting back against cancel culture. We'll get to that. But, earlier this morning, and we didn't get a chance to do it before the cut sheet like we had expected to do because we had some technical difficulties bugging the studios down the hallway of 94 WIP because, this morning is not really about riveting, entertaining radio in the world of sports. And it's not just down the hallway. It's across the country. Sports radio stations across the country going through the monotonous exercise that is the NFL schedule release from last night. And you sit down in front of a microphone and you say, okay, week number 2, we play, that's a loss. Okay, dog, give them a win. That's a tough spot, Mikey. You got a short week followed by the holiday.
So, look at you doing Mike and the Mad Dog.
Yeah, I was doing Mike and the Mad Dog there. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff you're getting. You're not getting entertaining content like you're getting on this station and this show right now. But we figured we would try to at least give you a little clue as to what it might sound like on a boring sports radio station.
Oh boy.
In the morning doing, nonsense like predicting results of something that's going to happen in November. Not that this day used to annoy me or anything, but myself, Dawn, Greg,
yes,
let's give them win or loss
for
the Eagles' schedule last night. And we've actually, since his calendar was wide open, John Fetterman agreed to join us on the same access that Mary Walter and Mike Opelka joined us on earlier this week.
Very nice.
So, John Fetterman, do we have you, sir?
Good night, everybody.
He's here.
Good morning to you as well, sir. All right, so let's start with this. We'll go around the room. Dawn, you'll be our leadoff hitter. Greg, you chime in. I'll give us we're not going to break anything. We're just going to go win or loss.
Gotcha.
All right, so week 1, the Eagles will open up in New England against the Patriots on September the 10th. Dawn Stensland, Eagles at Patriots. Eagles or Patriots?
Eagles.
The Eagles!
All right, John Fetterman agrees. Greg?
The Eagles.
I would agree. So we're going to sweep across the board here. The three of us and John Fetterman all have the Eagles in week 1. Week 2 is a short week, Thursday night game, September 14th.
My son's birthday.
Ooh, hello. There you go.
I saw that. I'm like, I emailed my husband. I'm like, can we get tickets for David, David's birthday?
Yep. All right.
So I have to go with the win.
All right, so you got the win.
She doesn't even know who they're playing.
The Vikings.
Oh, okay.
I do know.
Yes.
Sorry. Are you going to say a loss for any of these, Dawn? Okay. Vikings. I would go win.
You go win?
Yep.
Okay, so the Eagles 2-0 there. I will go with the Vikings. John Fetterman, who do you got?
The Eagles.
Wow.
John Fetterman's on the Eagles. All right, week 3 at Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football. No Tom Brady. Should be no problem. Dawn Stensland, Eagles or Bucks?
I'm going Eagles. By the way, Tom Brady is reportedly looking to buy the whatever Vegas. Is it the Vegas Raiders? What is the Vegas team?
Yeah, the Vegas Raiders.
That's who he's reportedly looking to buy.
Look at you. NFL Scoop Insider, Dawn Stensland. All right, Greg, Eagles, Bucks.
Bucks.
Bucks. All right.
Boo.
He said Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you got the Eagles short week, actually a long week from Thursday night to the following Monday, and they lose. All right.
I say they win.
You say they win? Mm-hmm. I'll go Eagles as well, Mr. Fetterman.
Eagles!
Okay, John, he couldn't wait to tell us that one. By the way, the over-under win total for the Eagles is 10.5 this year in a 17-game schedule. So if you want to bet the over, if you think they're going to win 11 games or more, that means they would go 11-6 on the season. All right, week 4, the Washington Commanders in Philadelphia as we flip the calendar to October. Dawn, Eagles or Commanders? Week
Eagles.
4. All right.
Eagles.
I got the Eagles as well. John Fetterman?
The Eagles.
Yeah, John's got the Eagles. He's playing to the. This is what the Democrats do. They play to their audience. So we've got a couple of four. We're all 4-0 except for Stalker.
Yeah.
Stalker's got them 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, week 5 they go to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Dawn Stensland.
Eagles.
Eagles. Like it was difficult for you. She's selling it for theater. We're like James Comer at a podium. It's all theater. So Greg Stalker, Eagles or Rams?
Rams.
Oh, Greg's got 2 losses. Okay. I will go with the Eagles as well. And John Fetterman?
The Eagles.
Okay, John Fetterman's on the Eagles. Who will pick a loss first, Fetterman or Dawn? Week 6, the Eagles go to the Jets to take on Aaron Rodgers. Dawn Stensland, Eagles or Jets?
Eagles.
Okay. Greg Stalker?
Eagles.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers, the Eagles, they're going to have to lose a couple of games. I'll take the Jets. And John Fetterman, Jets or Eagles?
The Eagles.
All right, John's on the Eagles. Sunday Night Football, the Eagles and the Dolphins. Week 7, Eagles and Miami here in Philadelphia. Dawn, your thoughts?
Home against Miami.
That's correct.
I'm going to go Eagles.
Okay. Greg?
Eagles.
I would agree. I'm going to go Eagles. Mr. Senator?
The Eagles.
He's still on it.
He's on the Eagles. Week 8 at the Commanders, Halloween weekend at Washington. Dawn, Eagles or Washington?
Dawn is going
Eagles.
Eagles.
We're rated in the power rankings. We're rated number 3, by the way.
Okay.
Only third to KC Chiefs.
Yeah, boo.
Boo, they're number 1
Right.
and rating, and Cincinnati Bengals number 2. Boo.
Okay.
I will go Eagles as well.
Okay. I will take the Eagles as well. John Fetterman, you now work in Washington, D.C. at least once or twice a month. Your thoughts on Eagles and the Washington Commanders?
The Eagles.
He's got the Eagles. He's not going to be. They're not going to be happy with John in D.C. at that one.
They're not.
All right. So week 9, Eagles and the Cowboys. First time around, they'll play in Philadelphia as we flip the calendar to November. Dawn, Eagles or Cowboys? Good
Eagles.
Pick. Good pick. Greg?
Who are they playing?
Cowboys.
Cowgirls.
I go with Cowboys.
Okay. So Greg's got another loss for the Eagles. I will take the Eagles.
Ranked 8th, Cowgirls.
Yes. John Fetterman?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
He loves the
He's
Eagles.
like Randy Weingarten.
Yeah.
He just keeps yelling. It's amazing. Week 10, Eagles have a bye. So they got the week off after the Cowboys. And then here we go. Week 11, out of the bye against Andy Reid, who's the master coming out of a bye as well. Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. Eagles and Chiefs. Dawn Stensland. The Kelsey Bowl, one more time.
I know. I'm going with KC on that one, unfortunately.
Wow.
Okay. Greg Stock?
Casey as well.
Okay. I'm going to play the revenge game here. Eagles get payback on the road. They beat the Chiefs. John Fetterman, your thoughts?
The Eagles.
Wow.
Eagles as well. Okay. Week 12, the Buffalo Bills. Should be a good one. That'll be a nationally televised 4:30 game. Dawn, Eagles or the Bills?
Eagles.
Greg?
Eagles.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay.
Josh Allen and the Bills, a big win for the Eagles the week before against Kansas City. They can't do it 2 weeks in a row. They lose to the Bills. John Fetterman.
The Eagles.
John's undefeated Eagles win again. Week 13, Eagles 49ers. The Stalker Bowl, we're going to call this one, from Greg's great prognostication back in January.
I have to be consistent. I'm going to go with the Niners.
Greg's on the Niners again. Dawn, Eagles or Niners?
This is a hard one.
Hey, you were Fetterman got a blink once.
I know. Well, I did say KC.
Oh, that's right, you did.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Okay. I'm gonna stay consistent because that's what I'm about on this show. Revenge for the 49ers. They beat the Eagles and give the Eagles their second loss of the year. So I'll take San Francisco. John, who do you got?
The Eagles.
Okay. John, do I need to keep coming to you anymore, or are you just going to pick the Eagles? So hold that answer. At Week 14, the Eagles go to Dallas on Sunday Night Football. Dawn, Eagles or Cowgirls?
Again?
That's correct. Second time.
No, I think we're Eagles.
Okay.
Going with Eagles.
Greg, Eagles, Cowboys.
I will say the Eagles because they do well against the Cowboys in their home stadium.
Okay. I am going to take the Cowboys for a split on the season. And if you're tracking now, I've got the Eagles losing 3 of their last 4 games. Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, and Dallas. Tough stretch. John Fetterman, Eagles, Cowboys, round 2?
The Eagles.
The Eagles, okay. Week 15 at Seattle. Week before Christmas. Dawn, Eagles, Seahawks.
Eagles.
Greg.
Seahawks.
Ooh.
I will take the Eagles. That'll be a tough game. Long flight to the Pacific Northwest. Eagles beat the Seahawks. John?
The Eagles.
Okay. Week 16, down the stretch we come. Final 3 weeks. Dawn, Eagles, Giants. Round 2, Christmas Day. How about this? December 25th at 4:30 p.m. as you sit down to eat your Christmas dinner.
Christmas Day, Eagles.
Greg?
Eagles.
I will take the Eagles as well. John, the Giants or the Eagles?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Okay, that's what I figured. Week 17, the Eagles and the terrible Arizona Cardinals. Dawn, Eagles or the Cardinals?
Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles. John?
The Eagles.
Eagles. And then lastly, going into the week after New Year's, Week 18, Eagles, Giants. Dawn?
Eagles, Giants.
That's correct. Round 2.
Round 2.
They play them twice in a 3-week stretch.
Eagles.
Greg?
Giants.
I'll go Eagles. Mr. Fetterman, one last time.
The Eagles.
All right. Thank you for John. Great job.
Good night, everybody.
We'll let John get back to work. So I've got the Eagles, I believe, losing 5 games.
I have them all.
12-5.
I don't have it done,
Okay.
but I have who picked what, so I'll tally it up later.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nice work, and that's exactly what they would be doing on WIP for 4 straight hours today.
Thank you.
Just going through the schedule.
Thank you.
That's boring.
Making their audience drive
I'm
off
glad that we
76.
did it.
Well, at least we did a little faster.
Yeah, maybe for April Fool's one day, we should come in and do an opening hour on sports and let them spend the hour talking about Trump versus Biden.
That I would love to say. That I would love to say.
That would be pretty riveting.
Yeah.
All right, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Couple of things to get to. We've got the morning mystery movie clip coming up at 9:20. What's on tap for the Dawn Show, what's on the cut sheet part due, and who on Twitter today. That is all still on the way. But a couple of things on the Twitter, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk front that I want to hit on. And I wanted to get to this yesterday, but we just ran out of time. So newly released text messages suggest that Tucker Carlson actually really wanted to leave Fox News. So apparently, and this is according to these releases, and I'm using Mediaite.com that has a version of the story up. Tucker Carlson was apparently worried that he would be unable to escape Fox News and he would, quote, die here. Text messages with network host Jesse Waters suggest. I mean, Tucker makes it sound like it was so bad. I mean, I get it. There's probably a lot of drama and a lot of theater at a place like that. But, I mean, dude, you're getting paid $20 million. You made it sound like you were like stuck on the southern border and you couldn't get into the country or something. You had a pretty good life. Fox fired him last month, as we know, and he apparently had referred to one Fox senior executive as one of the naughty words, and it was far more vulgar than Trump calling Caitlin Collins nasty. It's the C word. I'll let you figure it out. In newly released texts from December of 2020, Carlson lamented then President Donald Trump and his post-election antics, which included a bunch of claims. Carlson goes on to say the following: it's so sad. He's going to break some bleep. He already is. Wish I knew where to run, but I'll die here. And then it goes from ranting in a text about Trump to bashing fellow Fox News employees. Apparently, Tucker Carlson was irked by Fox News reporter Jackie Heinrich, who I think does a very nice job as one of the White House correspondents. I mean, to compare apples to apples, so to speak, she is to the White House what Fox News is for what Collins was for CNN during the Trump era. And Tucker Carlson says in a text about Jackie Heinrich, quote, "This girl apparently works for us in the news division, though I'd be stunned if she's ever broken a story. She was on Twitter last night calling out Hannity and accusing Trump of planning to steal the election. Can't continue." It wasn't the only time Carlson griped about Heinrich, saying, quote, "Please get her fired." He texted to fellow hosts Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham shortly after the election. "Seriously, what the bleep? I'm actually shocked. It needs to stop immediately, like tonight. It's measurably hurting the company. The stock price is down. Not a joke." Additionally, Carlson texted Fox News anchor Brett Baer 2 days after the election, when it was yet to be decided, and expressed concern that the network's election coverage was insulting his viewers. Quote, I continue to think the company isn't taking this seriously enough." And he goes on and on and on. So apparently Tucker Carlson, for what this is worth, and if this is true, had a lot of issues with at least one reporter. We heard the Abby Grossman story where she officially dropped her suit, which I always thought was kind of weak and flimsy at best. But I don't think this should come as a surprise to anybody, because I've worked in sports media where high-profile hosts have a bone to pick with every single person under the sun, including the people they work with and they work around. So I don't know that this is a bombshell, but I've always thought Jackie Heinrich does a nice job, and I watch a lot of Fox News. But apparently Tucker Carlson says, how can you be a news reporter when you've never broken any news? So I figured we would pass that along in these never-ending Tucker stories. And speaking of that, Tucker Carlson's Twitter show, apparently from an advertising standpoint, and we'll talk about this for just a moment because we're up against it. So Fox has already shown that they are going to struggle in the ratings without Tucker Carlson. That being said, a lot of advertisers, now that Tucker is gone, are starting to come back to Fox News. But then, in his new landing spot of Twitter, according to the Wall Street Journal, this could get complicated because, as you know, Elon Musk lost a lot of advertisers when he purchased Twitter, hence why he started creating the subscriptions and the paying for the blue check and things like that. And now they're saying that Tucker Carlson's show to Twitter could impact Elon Musk's ability to bring back advertisers. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of these things where, Fox is probably sitting back and saying, well, we're going to go from 3 million viewers to 1.8, but our revenue might go up. And then Elon Musk is like, okay, I'm going to get a big name star on my platform, but now I'm once again kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place where how do I monetize Twitter? So, I think this is fascinating. And, if it's me, I want my business to be seen by as many people or as heard by as many people. I can't speak for other businesses, but I'll just tell you right now, Tucker Carlson's a draw. If I can get my brand out there in front of the masses, I'm doing it. Because as Michael Jordan once said, Republicans buy sneakers too, which is why I've never understood why you would want to alienate a significant portion of your potential buying market and your consumers. It's never made sense to me. So Figured we would do that. All right, 9:15. It is a Friday morning, and it's time for Dawn Stenzelin's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal Company.
And Big 3 at 9, sponsored by NTAG Philadelphia. So we do have breaking news, more breaking news, as a new witness has reportedly emerged and reportedly defending the actions of Marine veteran Daniel Penny. By some accounts, was a good Samaritan who stepped in when public transportation became dangerous. By other accounts, was somebody who acted in a violent, inappropriate, criminal way. But in any event, we told you last hour that Penny had turned himself into police within the past couple hours. This morning, Penny, who is 24 years old, turned himself in to the 5th Precinct there this morning, NYPD. This is in New York, but many in, for example, Philadelphia who ride SEPTA can relate to the dangers of riding in public transportation. So Penny now heading to court to be arraigned on a second-degree manslaughter charge, which carries a max sentence up to 15 years. Why? Well, because he put a homeless man with a record of 40 prior arrests, including violent attacks, in a chokehold after Neely had shouted that he was fed up, wanted to go to jail. So this morning, we're hearing that there is a 66-year-old witness who has come forward saying that the sergeant, the United States Marine veteran, actually had rushed in when the homeless man had said that he had threatened violence and had threatened to, quote, kill somebody. That those were the words. I'm going to kill somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And that he was, acting in a violent way and so on and so forth. So this is obviously good news if this witness is credible,
sure,
then that's a good thing.
Yep.
We are watching very carefully as migrants, yes, are crossing over the southern border. And these last-minute attempts, obviously, to claim asylum yesterday, because why Title 42 has officially ended. The Biden administration, pushing forth some new rules, and this as well as pandemic-era measures and federal funding, Medicaid, SNAP, etc., are coming to an end as well. So agents in tactical gear, they were doing the rehearsals, dress rehearsals, as you may say, but then after midnight, they were not dress rehearsals anymore, as those federal agents were beefing up the southern border from, Texas through California, all beefed up. So we haven't heard about any violence or any deaths or drownings or that sort of thing, but we are watching that very carefully. And yes, the reward money is still there, $25,000+ cash reward for anybody who can turn in 18-year-old Amin Hurst, most wanted in Philadelphia, an accused of killing 4 people. He is the only inmate left who escaped this Philadelphia prison. We've been talking about the story all week. They got the other guy who was disguising himself as a woman so that he could evade authorities. So now they've got one in custody. They're still looking for this so-called armed and dangerous 18-year-old Amin Hurst, as we know that U.S. Marshals and police are working around the clock to catch this most wanted suspect.
But if you do see him and you try to, grapple with him, don't choke him out, because Krasner will prosecute you then.
Yes, exactly.
As we've learned.
No, and on a serious note, they're saying this guy, they say, is an armed and dangerous guy. If you think you see him, you want to call police. You don't want to approach.
Right.
Because he's accused of murdering 4 people and injuring 2 others. So we are sponsored by NTAG Philadelphia with amazing worldwide career opportunities and up to $115,000 just to join. Is that right? $115,000 just to join. The U.S. Navy is ready to forge your figure. Call them today at 44368 190-8080. This is written weird. Up to $115. I think they mean $1,500 just to join. I'm assuming it's a signing bonus.
Yeah.
But they wrote $115,000. So sign me up.
I'm putting my 2-week notice in. Great, I'm out, pal.
We'll do it live.
talent. I believe it's 1,500. We will fact check that, but sure would be nice.
115,000?
Not going to be on my watch.
Kayal Company, Big 3.
All right, that'll do it. 9:22 here on this Friday morning. Let's get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I haven't heard any music. Uh-oh. You know what? Miss Lemons must be on crack, right, kids?
Well, what's that?
Oh, that. Yeah. We were singing, and we were learning. We were learning in sing-song.
Huh. One of your methods?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I find that it's really helpful when you're teaching the subjects that are the boring subjects.
Huh. You don't mind if I just sit in on your class this afternoon, do you?
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
And the prize again, a $25 gift card to Wawa. If you can identify that movie clip, caller 12. 855-839-1210. The phone number, caller 12 gets a $25 gift card to Wawa. Gotta have a Wawa. And we're back after this.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Every once in a while, you come across a deal that you can't pass up. And if you live in an older home, you'll want to listen up. I've told you how USA Insulation completely changed how my home feels. I've told you how it's paid for itself in energy savings. And if you haven't had your home insulation upgraded yet, I'm here to tell you that now is the time. The discounts are bigger than they've ever been. This month, during National Home Improvement Month, you can get free install labor. You pay for the foam. USA Insulation will install it for free. Plus, there's an energy credit that puts up to $1,200 back in your pocket. You've got to take advantage of this before the summer heat. They can insulate almost any type of home, including brick homes. Over 100,000 homeowners can't be wrong, including me. 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net, USAinsulation.net.
Hey, neighbor, what you up to?
Just getting the groundwork done to put in my new patio.
Oh, cool. Did you contact Pennsylvania One Call System to check for underground utilities first?
Nah, there's nothing but dirt back here.
Whoa, hey, man, are you okay?
Hey, did you guys lose power too? Love that new hair color, Bill.
Yeah, your hair's totally white now.
Maybe I should contact Pennsylvania One Call.
Well, that's the smartest thing you've said all day.
Know what's below. Contact 811 before you dig or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or Home Depot. There are over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
King Shooter Supply, a full-service gun store, licensed FFL, buy, sell, trade, all sorts of accessories, and indoor range and training center is open in King of Prussia, with lessons and classes for all shooters, such as parent and child gun safety and range time, weekly cleaning classes, and pistol red dot. Check out all the offerings. Membership options include law enforcement, military, first responder, and seniors. Stop in to see King Shooter Supply, 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia, or find them on Facebook, kingshooters.com. Now open Sundays too, noon till 6.
Bring home a legend on Friday, June 9th, when the Phils host the Dodgers at 7:05. And all fans 15 and over receive a Johnson Controls Dick Allen Bobble figurine. Order tickets now at Phillies.com. Calling all bookworms. Join us for Fanatic About Reading Day, presented by Xfinity on Sunday, May 21st at 1:35 when the Phils host the Cubs. And kids 14 and under receive a Fanatic children's book. Order now at Phillies.com.
Calling on Atco, New Jersey to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now. Download it now.
Nice to meet you where you been. I could show you incredible things. Magic, madness, heaven, sin. Saw you there and I thought, oh my God, look at that face. You look like my next mistake.
All right, 9:30 as we continue playing all the hits here on Talk Radio 1210.
Look, I'm just, she sold out 3 nights at Philly. She must be doing something right.
I know. She's amazing. Hey, can I just say really quick? I looked this up, even though the phone number was written kooky. The Navy did announce this hefty bonus program to entice its veterans and veterans of other services to re-enlist.
Okay.
So it actually is in total $115,000.
By the way, you're both under contract, so neither of you are leaving.
The non-compete does not allow us to join the armed forces.
They have like yearly bonuses, and they'll do student loan repayments. And they have this whole package is worth $115,000.
Wow.
Yeah, for the signing up for the U.S. Navy.
It's like a 4-pack of tickets to see Taylor Swift. It's unbelievable.
Some of the dads were cute in line that were interviewed, dads and moms. But the one dad was like, "Yeah, I'm in line for my daughter."
Yep, that's gonna be me in about 3.5 years.
That's what I thought of.
Unbelievable. Taking my daughters to see Kendrick Lamar. 855-839-1210. Carl is in South Jersey. I believe he's identified the movie clip correctly. Carl, what movie clip did we just play a few minutes ago?
That would be The School of Rock.
That is correct, sir. Circa 2003. Congratulations. You got yourself a $25 gift card to Wawa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carl. We appreciate you playing, and we appreciate you listening. A couple of things to hit on here, and we'll get to what's on the cut sheet part due in about 6 minutes. So 2 things in the world of cancel culture that I absolutely love, because I love when big-time voices and big-time personalities speak up against this left-wing woke absurdity, and Tom Hanks is the latest to do so. As Hollywood superstar Tom Hanks explained in a new interview that he opposes cancel culture and the modern efforts to police content for what some people may deem offensive. In an interview with BBC, the film legend said he doesn't want the overlords of PC culture to tell him what he should be offended by. Quote, I'm of the opinion that we're all grown-ups here, and we understand the time and the place and when these things were written. And it's not very hard at all to say, that doesn't quite fly right now, Hank said. Let's have faith in our own sensibilities here instead of having somebody decide what we may or may not be offended by. I love the way he says that right there. Let's have faith in our own sensibilities to decide what's offensive and what's not. Use your common sense, use your life experiences, and don't rely on the overlords of the woke PC politically correct culture to tell you what you should or should not be offended by. He says the following, quote, let me decide what I am offended by and what I'm not offended by. I would be against reading any book from any era that says abridged due to modern sensitivities. Hank's reacting to a movement that we've talked about on this show in publishing, where they are revising classic books that contain language and ideas once accepted, now considered offensive by modern progressive sensibilities. And some of these authors have had their books updated. Ian Fleming, Roald Dahl, R.L. Stine. I mean, I remember as a kid in the 90s, if you were a 90s kid, 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade, whatever it was, you read Goosebumps. Mm-hmm. R.L. Stine's Goosebumps.
That's what my boys read.
There's like 30 or 40 or 50 different Goosebumps books written by R.L. Stine. And they're going back in and highlighting and circling things and pondering what's offensive and what's not, and then editing. Like, a lot of these timeless classics should just be what they are and use your brain and, you know, stop acting like a snowflake. Tom Hanks, of all people in Hollywood, coming out and saying, we need to stop this nonsense. So I totally agree with him on that one.
Well, Tom Hanks, wasn't he referring as well to this new DEI
of course
rule that you can only win an Academy Award if your movie checks certain boxes,
which we talked about at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And I forget what other actor was going off about that we discussed. Oh my God, I should know this. We talked about the story.
Oh my God, in Jaws.
Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss.
Dreyfuss.
Yeah, Matthew Hooper. Yeah. So that was his thoughts. And then this is right up your alley, Stalker, because you love, and we've had comedians on the show. Yep. We've had a handful of really, really accomplished people. Joe Rogan now coming out and standing up for his new comedy club that he has launched in Austin, Texas, where he hosts a lot of canceled comedians, such as Roseanne Barr, Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, and others. And they have been performing here because Rogan thinks, and I agree wholeheartedly with this, look, the best comedy is the stuff that kind of walks right up to that line and pushes the envelope a bit. And you, as a free speech advocate, I mean, this is right up your alleyway.
Yeah, it's called the Comedy Mothership or something in Austin, Texas.
Correct.
It looks like from every. I think Bill Burr was just there. There's been a lot of comedians that have played there, and they said it is just you can tell a comedian designed it because it's just laid out properly. It's great, and it's a place where people can go do the comedy routines, bits that they want to, and not feel like that they're going to be canceled or censored.
Yeah. I've never understood how you could walk into a comedy show not of the preconceived notion of, hey, there's probably going to be offensive stuff that is said here. So I don't know why you're surprised when it happens.
Yep,
or
exactly.
More importantly, offended. Yep. He goes on to say, when people do risky subjects, it's my favorite bleep. He says, we don't do it as an alternative to comedy. We do it because that is comedy.
Yep.
Which is so incredibly well said. As I mentioned, Roseanne, Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, and apparently Rogan, and not that he needs the money, is making a killing because the Comedy Mothership opened on March 7th, and tickets to his opening show sold out in minutes, where some resale tickets were listed as high as $900 a pop on StubHub.
There was an article I saw that says, is Austin the new place for comedy? It used to be the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles with the Comedy Factory, the Comedy Cellar in New York. Could Austin be that next mecca where people can go and really, where all the great comedians kind of flock to?
Which it's kind of interesting because we know Austin is a major defund the police city.
Yep.
And Austin is one of these blue, progressive transplant cities smack dab right in the center in the heart of Texas, which, short of Florida, is about as red as it gets right now. But yet somehow this type of comedy, you would think, which would never get off the ground in Austin, Texas, of all places, is now like the hotbed for this stuff.
Yep.
So pretty fascinating stuff.
It is.
All right, 9:39. It's a Friday morning as we wrap up another week with What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Yes, Nick Kale, What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 is sponsored by Catholic Philly. Stay up to date with the latest Catholic news by signing up for Catholic Philly's weekly newsletter containing local, national, and world Catholic news, inspiring feature stories, and more each week direct to your email box. Visit CatholicPhilly.com to learn more. CatholicPhilly.com. Thank you, Catholic Philly, for sponsoring What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. Hey, before I get to this, I just want to bring up a comment. We were talking about this Marine that has been charged, Daniel Penny, for choking out somebody to death on the subway. CD Hearn 14 on YouTube. By the way, we're streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. And thank you for hitting 3,000 subscribers. We have hit 3,000 subscribers 20 minutes before 10 o'clock, which is just incredible. The fact that we've come here. I'm just overwhelmed by the support. Keep on subscribing, by the way.
Yes.
CD Hearn says, no excuses. As a Marine, he broke the law. He broke the laws of engagement. As a sergeant, he should have known better. And as a Marine, they taught us many non-lethal ways to end the conflict. That's a last resort move. Thoughts? Well, I just thought it was an interesting comment. That's why I'm bringing it up.
So this guy continued to kind of resist, right?
Yep.
Like we watched him on video where the arms kept flailing and he was, so, I think, and I made it in kind of a real general phrase. I mean, he should have tapped out, right?
Yep.
Like, if you keep fighting it, he's going to continue to keep you in that position. Whereas if, like when you're wrestling around with your buddies, you eventually tap out, I give up, that whole bit. But think about this guy. Then a rap sheet, though. 40-plus arrests, the assaults of 67-year-old women and 64-year-old. This guy didn't choke out a choir boy.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I would love to hear from
military
to see if this is if they would have done the same thing or be like, I don't know, we can, these guys are trained killers. They can do, they can do what they want to do. So do they have a more...
I would say they're not trained killers. They're trained defenders.
That was an awful thing to say. Yes, I don't mean trained killers. I mean, they could. I just mean they can kill people with, a penny if they wanted to.
Exactly.
So.
But I would say that the witnesses are critical to this. And let us not forget that he was not acting alone. There were at least two other people that were also assisting him in holding down this person with a criminal, including violent criminal past. Yeah. And so why are the other people, shouldn't the other two people, no matter what anybody was doing, you were complicit.
Yeah.
And so if he's being charged, why aren't the others being charged? That's one of my questions.
Yep.
And then also, depending on the witnesses, if there are now witnesses saying that this homeless man, and it's tragic. Nobody thinks it's a good thing, but this homeless man had threatened to kill people and was acting in a way that was threatening to people.
Yeah. I think it's going to come down to that reasonable test, that standard, that measure that they will apply where they say, is it reasonable to assume that the average New Yorker would have done the same thing? To which, to this person, this commenter on YouTube's question, well, the average everyday New Yorker is not a trained Marine. Right?
Yeah.
So
I see what you're saying, but
now what that means I don't know, but
yeah,
this guy was not your average everyday.
Yeah, but he's a 24-year-old guy who's riding in public transportation with others. And my point is he wasn't the only one who rushed in to help.
Yeah.
So was there a reasonable feeling of, hey, we are in danger and this person is a danger and we are acting in the benefit of everybody's lives?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is everybody, including, somebody online who's saying, oh, he did. You don't even know what he did. That's my point. We don't have the information. Where are the 911 calls?
Yep.
Where is the other video? The only video that went viral was the reaction, not leading up to it. We in our society are such armchair, quarterbacks, are we not?
Yep.
That we just want to call everything like, oh, we're the authority.
Yep.
And we want to say these things. None of us have the facts.
And you never know what you're going to do until you're actually in that situation.
True.
Right?
Yep.
Like we can say, oh, I never would have held him in a chokehold for X amount of minutes. You don't know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And so what if this guy had killed somebody or maimed them?
Well, that's the message they're telling us now.
Yes.
But would they have said, oh, shame on you? Because that's happened in Philadelphia, where a lady was being assaulted and everybody came out, or actually it was Philadelphia. And they said, oh, look at these people. And they didn't move forward. And so we all judged them. I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, I think it makes people, I know for me, and Jimmy Kelly, who's visually impaired, he's been paying an Uber driver some days because he doesn't feel safe.
Yep.
That's what a lot of people are doing.
Let's end on a fun note, shall we? Did you know that non-white people can be white supremacists?
I did not know that. So, okay, non-white people. So,
Which, by the way, isn't that from a white? Isn't that a racist statement to say they're non-white?
Yeah.
But in this day and age, you can be anything you want. If you want to identify as a cactus, you can identify as a cactus. Be my guest.
Over on The View, Anna Navarro declared on the that a person doesn't have to be a white or white supremacist to be. But this is written very properly. They're talking about the Texas Mall mass shooter.
Yep.
Okay. Here's the clip.
This aspect too, we all have to remember that the head of the Proud Boys, his name is Enrique Tarrio. The Proud Boys is a white nationalist group. Look, being Hispanic or being black or being anything, does not make you immune from being racist, from being radicalized, from being a white supremacist, from being evil, from being homicidal. And we are seeing it over and over again.
Just and if you guys don't remember specifically what they're talking about here, this is the guy who, if you've seen the pictures of him before he was killed, he had all these like fresh there's still a lot of little anecdotal bits and pieces of this case that don't make sense.
Yep.
He's got, did he have the swastikas on his hands, I believe, or his forearms? And you look at him and they look like they were just done like days ago, if you've ever had a tattoo and had fresh ink. And then also he was in like these chat rooms, but yet he had an account that was just created that had no followers. It's very, very suspicious stuff with this.
Yeah, it's weird. But immediately they go toward,
of course,
racism.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Joe Biden yesterday spoke on the South Lawn of the White House. He ended his speech by saying this.
Pardon, as the president departs.
All the kids under the age of 15, come on up here.
Oh, boy. All the kids under 15. Come up here with Uncle Joe. Sit on my lap. Do we have the other clip of him where he talked about how hot it was out? And then
yes, I'm going to play that right now. This is cut 6. He's talking to the audience of young folk, as he says.
Well, I tell you what, looking at the guys up front here, having to put on ties when you're on a school day. That's a hard thing to do, and all you lovely young ladies. You're not hot, are you?
What?
I think.
Ew.
That's a hard thing to do, and all you lovely young ladies. You're not hot, are you?
All the boys under 15 this way, all the hot girls this way. I like both.
You're not hot, are you?
I need that on my board.
Yeah.
You're not hot, are you?
You're not hot, are you?
I need that on the board.
Do, and all you lovely young ladies.
Oh, you lovely young ladies.
I feel what he's trying to say is that when it's like real hot out, it sucks to be a guy and wear a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
Because you sweat profusely.
Of course.
Right?
You get the pit stains.
Oh, dude, I remember having a wedding that I went to in September of, I think it was 2013. Had to be 94 degrees, and I had a lavender dress shirt and tie on.
Yeah.
Dude, you would have thought there was like a faucet in my armpits.
As somebody who got married in the summer outside,
it's brutal.
Can we stop with the summer weddings
Oh,
outside?
I know.
Please.
And all you lovely young ladies.
That's how he got Jill. That's how he scooped up Dr. Jill.
You're not hot, are you?
You're not Jill. Let's isolate the you're not hot, are you? So here's what a random guy says to a girl on his DMs on social media when you slide into the DM of a lady.
You're not hot, are you?
You're not hot, are you?
All the kids under the age of 15. Come on.
Yeah, come on. That's all the kids are doing these days. This is why they don't let him out, folks.
He also said this about second gentleman Doug Emhoff.
Second gentleman is here, along with his parents, Mike and Barbara. And as they say in Southern Delaware, you've done good raising that boy. And thank you.
So in Southern Delaware, they said you done good raising that boy. What?
Well, Mike Opelka's a Southern Delaware resident.
He is.
We should ask him if they use that.
Nobody in Southern Delaware says that.
Dude, he acts like Southern Delaware is like in Georgia or something. Southern Delaware, how far is Southern Delaware from here? Is it 30 miles?
Second gentleman is here, along with his parents, Mike and Barbara. And as they say in Southern Delaware, you've done good raising that boy. And thank you. And
oh my God,
are you hot? Where's Jackie?
Oh no,
no, Jackie Heinrich.
You're not hot, are you?
Sorry. All right, we should break.
You get what you vote for, people. Just saying. Yeah. Just saying. 855-839-1210. We'll come back, find out what is on tap for the Dawn Show. That's 11 minutes out. And who won Twitter today? We're back after this here on Kayal Company.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm JR of CBS Sports Radio, and I want to introduce you to a new podcast titled Agents of Inclusion, brought to you by Special Olympics, Odyssey, and JR Sport Reproductions. Every Wednesday, we'll be speaking with a different Special Olympics athlete to share their stories of perseverance, accomplishment, and path towards inclusion. We don't want you to just listen. We want you to become an active agent of inclusion as well. Special Olympics, Agents of Inclusion, find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit InnovativeMedicalAssociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaros and Mark Cumberland, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Find out all you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. Good News in Real Estate, Saturdays 1 p.m. on WPHT.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. When planning your summer vacation, pick a destination close to where you live to limit the impact of fuel to get there. There might even be areas of your own city you want to explore in depth. And if you're planning to go camping, learn how to have a Leave No Trace trip, so you can leave the campsite the same way or even cleaner than you found it. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company mornings. Rich Cioli afternoons. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Cause baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be mad.
Can we stop getting our
So
news
take
from
a look
Twitter?
what you've done. Cause baby, now we got bad blood.
Oh, boy. Yeah, buddy. Kayal Company, Mother's Day weekend, Swifties in the building.
By the way, I could be wrong, but I believe Kendrick Lamar is on this song. God. So it comes full circle all week for you, Nick Kale.
Not a joke. Not a joke. All right, Dawn Stenzel, The Dawn Show coming up in 6 minutes' time, and we find out what's on tap at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so right at 10, we'll have Linda Stein talking of Delaware Valley Journal, as well, of course, as Broad and Liberty, talking about the women's vote, and what's going on in Delco, why an election happening next Tuesday could decide the balance of power in Pennsylvania, a critical election, and we'll get into that, as well as really Linda has the pulse of what's going on with female voters in Pennsylvania. So I think she's just such a brilliant lady who has reported and been involved with the process, the electoral policies and so on, especially in Pennsylvania. So we'll tap into her brain and figure out what's going on. She's just a really brilliant mind that you want to hear from. That's right at 10. And Larry Menti at 11.
Okay.
So we'll talk about, there's so much breaking news right now.
You'll break down the Mother's Day plans for the household on the 11 o'clock hour.
How'd you score Larry?
It's a big get.
That's a big get.
Lorenzo booked him.
Special favors.
Well, okay.
All right.
Oh, wow, okay.
Wow.
You're not hot, are you?
All right.
Let's wrap
We're
it up.
both grumpy because we were up watching last night's Sixers loss.
Who won Twitter?
Speaking of Mother's Day, Lisa M wins Twitter. She says, I've raised 4 daughters and hope to get something, usually do, but my husband is not my child, which I try to reinforce daily. No gift from hubby, please. Thank you, Lisa M, for saying that Greg Stocker does not also have to get his wife a Mother's Day gift.
Disagree.
Holy crap! Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Disagree.
Coming to my defense.
There you go.
She's not my mother.
All right.
She is your baby mama.
Well, you should be happy. You got somebody defending you. You got 3,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I know. It's been a good week.
It's been a good week,
It's been
right?
a good week.
All right.
I can't complain.
Yes. The Dawn Show is coming up next. Have a great Mother's Day weekend, and we will talk to you Monday morning at 6 o'clock.
Sick of you. I'm sick of all of this. I'm done with